This podcast is brought to you by Twitch.tv, the world's largest video game broadcasting and chat community. Join the community, chat with your friends, start broadcasting your gameplay, and connect with a whole universe of gaming fanatics at Twitch.tv.
It's the Drunk Tank Podcast on a Wednesday, but if you're from Britain like me, it comes out really late, so you have to get it on a Thursday before break in the morning. This is the Drunk Tank Podcast. Yeah. Talking about games, food, and the Frag Dolls. Maybe even Gus dressed up as one. That was a good short. With Jeff, Gus, Bernie, Joel, Matt, Griffin, Carrie, Monty. So we better get started with the Drunk Tank Podcast today. Go Carrie!
Hey, what's up? This is the podcast.
What was that last part?
Go Carrie!
Go Carrie, yeah.
That was the UK representing.
Yeah, this is
How did you like
Carrie's,
Carrie?
Carrie's birthday was this week, so
Nice.
So you let him do the intro song.
no, that was not Carrie doing the intro song. That was someone from the website.
Need more cowbell. But other than that, it was good.
If you would like to make your own podcast theme song and with more cowbell, send it to podcast@roosterteeth.com.
That one must be what? That must be 9 months old?
No, that's
That
from
one?
February of 11, so that's 15 months old.
Oh my God.
Do you have we've rebranded to now it's not a Drunk Tank, now it's Rooster Teeth Podcast,
Yes.
right? But you still have all these songs with Drunk Tank lyrics. So you try to burn through those?
No, just whatever.
Is Joel,
Just
slurring?
Joel walked
Joel
in
has-
with a six-pack this morning.
And I said,
To our
Joel,
recording.
we recorded in the morning. I said, Joel, your beer already? And his response was, well, that was it. Joel's on Australia time.
I am on Australia time. I was drinking the whole time I was on Australia time while I was in Australia. So I figured I'd just keep going. Jet lag sucks.
Yeah, jet lag's awful.
They say it's worse going east.
Have you recovered yet?
I'd agree with that. I like going west.
No, I haven't recovered yet, and it's harder. I think it's harder the older you are, and just set in your ways.
So
I'm still waking up at 4 in the morning. I wake up at 4 in the morning.
Does that taste like an evening beer right now? Or is that very morning
It
beer?
tastes like an evening. Yeah, it's an
Nice.
evening.
What time is it in Australia right now? Do you know?
I don't know. It's fucking drink beer fucking o'clock.
It's like tomorrow or like
It's like
tomorrow at
tomorrow
1 a.m. or something. So you should be really wasted by now. So you're way behind.
Gus has a backpack with a bottle opener on it. How fucking when is that?
we travel a lot. We've talked about it, and I've encountered situations where while traveling, I'll buy a six-pack of beer and realize I don't have a bottle opener. So I bought that backpack specifically because it has a bottle opener built into it.
The backpack is the new Swiss Army knife. Like, I just bought a new backpack for the trip. It's like you cannot have enough things attached to the backpack, because that backpack, you're living with that thing night, day, Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, anywhere you are. That backpack is.
But I had to say, they all put something on them that I just, I'm not buying. Like, for instance, they all have that little, grommeted rubber hole where you're supposed to put your headphones through. Like, you're going to put your MP3 player inside it.
Whoever does that.
Nobody
does that.
ever has done that.
So
ever.
they want you to reach into your bag to change tracks, do they?
Right.
Or pick the track? No. That's
Well,
never
now
done.
you could.
My old one
You
had
could
that.
use Siri. You could talk to it.
Yeah, if you want to look like a...
This backpack has a media pocket.
Yeah.
This is literally a Swiss Army backpack.
That looks like your first aid kit is listening to music.
It does look like that, yeah.
Looks like your health pack wants to jam out.
It's funny how the values have shifted over the last 100 years, where back in the day it was like, oh, I need a knife to help me out of the situation. Now I've got to have an MP3 player.
You have to have a smartphone.
So, when you fly to Australia, you cross the date line, right?
Yes.
Yes. So
can you land...
Australia from the U.S., where we are in the U.S., we're -6 GMT. Here's the best way I think about it. They're 9 hours earlier than us tomorrow.
Right.
So you have to go forward a day, then go back 8 hours.
Yeah, you take off from Austin. Flying Austin to Melbourne takes from the second you walk into the airport at Austin to the second you walk out the airport at Melbourne, it's about a 24-hour trip.
Good
you
God.
land 2 days after you take off. So you leave here on a Monday, you get there on a Wednesday. And then when you fly back, you land on the same day you took off. So you take off let's say Friday at 8 a.m. and you land Friday at noon.
So is it possible to land before you took off?
Is it possible to
Yes.
land before you took off?
I think it's funny because I had a bunch of it is possible. It is possible, but for me, it's like I was going from Gold Coast to Sydney to LA to Austin. So it's like but it's like had I left from Sydney, measuring. See, I've already
Every time you tap the table, I'm watching Gus cringe. Every single time.
the table.
So,
Any more limes? Hey,
the Gold Coast kept appearing on the itinerary for our events. It sounds like an amusement park. What is it?
it's a city.
It's called Gold
City.
Coast.
Apparently, no, it's right on the coast. It's
Is Gold Coast the name of the city, or is that a region in Australia? I thought that was a region.
I think
Like
it's
the Gold Coast.
Right.
I think it's a city, but I guess
You don't
it's a
know?
region. I don't know. I was drunk most of the time. I mean, once I got to LAX, it was dropping Vicodins, drinking beers, and that was it.
Dropping Vicodins and drinking beer.
And that was it. But I had a good time. Many interesting things happened to us.
You want to share
there-
any of those stories? Should we get
no.
Marshall? Marshall went with you.
We had 4 panels and met a ton of fans, and it went really well. They saw all the fans. Monty just walked in.
Four panels?
4 panels. We had 4 panels, and they all went really well. We showed the action sequence. Everyone went crazy for it, so that went well.
Gold Coast is a coastal city located in the southeast of the state,
Nice.
Queensland, Australia.
And it was great because this trip was a little bit different because we were sort of on the supernova star list or whatever. So
How'd you sneak onto that?
I don't know, but it was like we basically got the treatment of all the stars, of all the people who were there. And it's funny, 'cause I kept running into a lot of the Firefly people. And I kind of know some of the Firefly people. Did you only shave half your face? You've done that before, right?
This is something I like to do where I
trained
like
at
to see
Two-Face?
how long it takes for people to notice that I've got half a beard. Bernie's been talking to me for about an hour. Didn't notice.
Don't care.
Well,
Let me see.
because
You know,
the-
some people, like,
It's
some
because
people
the
notice
hair on your
immediately.
face matches your skin color exactly.
It's weird though. Some people notice like straight away. Like Michael's like, "You have half a beard." It's like, "Yeah, I do." But you look at me for like an hour and you.
It's
you have
because
no idea.
that
You don't look at
means
beard
that
face.
means Michael doesn't have enough work.
Is that what that, means?
That's what it means. Basically, if you
Says
know,
the guy
if you know
who's
what's going
who's
on-
drunk at 10:30 in the morning.
Well, this is part of the work. This is part. I had to go into the drugstore and buy this this morning, and thinking, well, it's for work.
How did you manage?
I also charge it to the company, but and I can't remember what the rules are for buying beer in Texas. But I guess it's okay now.
Yeah, I know
it
you-
used to be okay.
You can't buy it after midnight, but when can you start buying it again? Like, right? Like, that's the big thing. Is like at midnight they
I
stop
bought this.
selling
I
it.
bought this like 9:30 in the morning
Why is there limits on when you can buy booze?
because people are silly.
I'm not sure if every state in the U.S. has that, but Texas has a history as a Baptist state.
Can you buy beer on Sunday?
Yes, but you cannot buy hard liquor in Texas on Sunday.
Anywhere?
No.
Is it just closed? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, liquor stores are closed.
So what if there's liquor in a supermarket?
There is no liquor in a supermarket. That's the other thing about Texas.
There's
Only
only
certain
beer and
stores-
wine are in the
Really?
supermarket.
Only certain stores sell liquor.
Wow.
But as an offshoot of that, we then have these major megaplex size liquor stores. There's one right across the street from us,
Yeah.
where it's nothing
It's like
but
a
liquor.
there are-
Walmart with alcohol.
There are some states where the state government controls the liquor stores.
That is correct.
Like
Utah.
Washington State and Utah, I believe. Like where it's like state
Utah's
liquor.
crazy because you go there and it's like you have superpowers because the alcohol content is reduced in the alcohol there, and so it's like you just drink and drink and drink and drink and drink and drink, can't get drunk. Remember when we went to Sundance?
No, no, I totally
That was the
agree.
deal. And the only thing that they didn't do that was with the wine. So I remember us trying to find wine.
I would never
It's
drink
like-
wine.
The one time you'll ever hear that sentence.
It's like we have to
were trying
find
to
wine because it's the only thing that's not altered.
I once went to a place with you, Joel, where it was like a drive-through fort made out of beer boxes, and you like drive through
Yeah.
it, and they just give you.
Awesome, right?
What is that called?
Louisiana.
That thing was cool.
A party barn.
I've never seen one of those anywhere.
Yeah, those are great. Party
I
barns.
feel like a lot of states don't have that. I feel like
Yeah,
there are
yeah.
people who've been visiting
Yeah.
here who are like, what the hell is that? You
That's
drive
like you
through.
drive into it. You say, "I want this," and then some guy goes and grabs it and
gives
gives
it-
it back
passes
to
it.
you.
You never even
Yeah.
get out of your car.
Yeah.
The ultimate in laziness.
McDonald's could learn something from that.
When I moved to Texas as a young kid, I remember that they were changing the law that you couldn't drink in your car.
Yeah.
So you couldn't be drunk, but you could drink in your car.
Fun
as long as you didn't go over the
ended
limit.
in 1989. Fun ended in 1989.
So you used to literally be able to drink and drive.
Yeah, you could
Drink
drink
while
in the car.
driving.
It's called open container law, but you could drink And like, it was a big deal because they said it was part of Texas culture to get your first beer on the way home. So you'd be drinking
One for the road.
Yeah.
You don't hear that too much often anymore. It's that sort of one thing. No. I had a story. I told you a story, and it's like I'm not sure I can tell the story now because I've already told.
No, come on, tell it.
So
Tell me the story. Tell
okay,
Gavin.
so there are koala bears in Australia,
What, just in the wild?
Yeah.
in the wild and around or whatever,
hanging out in a tree.
And so like there's
No,
a
they
park.
manufacture them in a plant, Gavin.
By the way, they're not bears. I got yelled at.
What are they? They're not bears?
They're marsupials, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're
Okay.
covered in fucking fur. They're fucking bears.
Monty has knowledge.
But apparently, it's like part of like if you're they call it super stars, I guess, if you're on the events list for thing. And so it's like they had a thing where they
cool.
take you to a park, and apparently it's the only place in Australia where it's legal to handle koalas.
Fuck, this sounds awesome.
Yeah, you can go
they
there,
have claws?
and they
Yeah.
give you. They have claws. They hand you a koala bear, and the koala bear holds onto you, and you hold the koala bear, and they take pictures, and everyone has a great fucking time, and it's fantastic. Holding a koala bear.
That's why you go to
Fantastic.
Australia.
That's why you go to Australia. But we were looking at this. Marshall and I were looking at this. Am I picking the mic? We were looking at
No, you're
this,
fine.
and we discovered that it's illegal to do that everywhere else in Australia.
Well, like law, like you'll be arrested.
Like law, it's illegal to do that, except for in this one region.
It's like no holds- it's
the
like-
Gold Coast is like the Vegas of Australia.
It's like
because
where
you
Mad
go-
Max happened. No rules.
No rules, and we're thinking, well, wait, I mean, that's got to be if it's illegal and all the other. There's got to be. That's probably we shouldn't do that. There's got to be a reason why.
Yeah.
right.
That's very
I'm more
strange.
concerned that when you throw out all laws, the first thing you do is hug a koala.
That's like the forbidden fruit, right?
You do anything.
You really want to
Get me a koala bear.
I need a hug right now.
Well, apparently the koala bears have been hugging each other a lot because they all have chlamydia.
Get out of here.
All the koalas have chlamydia. It's a big fucking problem, apparently.
Oh, what
We're
is
all-
chlamydia?
Chlamydia is a
I'll show you later.
sexually transmitted disease.
Who did the koala bears get chlamydia from?
Well, Marshall and I looked at each other and
Not
we
it.
thought, you know what? We don't need to do this. We're just not going to go on this. We're not. I don't need to handle a koala bear. I don't need to hold a
Dude,
koala bear.
if you
we don't
did-
need to do this.
If you got chlamydia from a koala bear, though, that'd be a cool story.
No, it wouldn't.
Well, it's
no.
funny that
They're
you
pretty cool.
say that.
They're pretty cool.
When
And
we
there's
were-
no symptoms, right, for guys?
What's
we-
that?
When we were in Melbourne, and we had to get a cab back from the event, we got this grizzled old taxi driver, and the taxi driver was like, "You can't go by the casino because that one
Is that
boy
an Australian
band."
accent?
That's kind of grizzled. I don't know where it's from. There's that one boy band, One Direction, is playing there. So you can't go anywhere near there. And we're like, "Oh, that's weird." One Direction. And then we got to Gold Coast. They were there too. And so help me God, Friday, the next day, I open up my web browser, and there it is. There's a headline. Member of One Direction gets chlamydia from handling a koala bear.
No shit.
Unbelievable.
Ben will be devastated. He loves One Direction.
Unbelievable.
Did he
Yeah.
really get chlamydia?
Well, that's what the headline. I have this. I have it.
What was the headline? Do you have it there? Like, can you read it?
I have it.
It says koala chlamydia. One Direction boy band members fear infection.
The koala took a pee on him, and now they're worried.
You have to pay extra for that?
I don't-
Or is it included in the base package?
There's reasons for laws. There are reasons for laws.
So did the pee just seep through his skin, or did he go in his mouth?
I don't know.
Why
I
did he
don't
get chlamydia?
know. Apparently, he didn't know how to hold it correctly, and he just hold it up right to his face and just.
Oh
It's like
god.
crotch to
mouth
face
open?
level.
How do I hold it with my tongue? I don't know.
So does he really have it, or does he just fear that he has it?
One Direction was really inspired by Chuck Berry. that's
Wow.
a reference. If you get that
Yeah,
reference.
Did Chuck Berry have chlamydia?
No, Chuck Berry had a series of videos of pee videos that were leaked at one point.
It leaked. Nice choice of words.
What do you mean pee video?
Wait.
When was this?
I want to make sure I have the right rock legend before
I don't think
start.
you have the right. Are you talking about R. Kelly? Because it seems more topical.
No, or is it
I thought he was the kids.
No, it's Jerry. No, what's that guy's name?
Jerry Lee Lewis?
He
Seinfeld.
he
That's
married
the
his
guy who married his
cousin.
cousin and peed on him.
What the fuck?
I'm just making shit up now.
Bernie's just looking at his web browser, cackling over there.
I love Google when you go to type in things.
What
When
it
I do
predicts.
my fact checking, I type in Chuck Berry. One is Chuck Berry guitar, Chuck Berry rock and roll, Chuck Berry piss party.
So I guess that pretty much confirms it.
This is from YouGo.com. Chuck Berry's piss party, the man widely regarded as the single most influential force of early rock and roll, has had a tumultuous life. Chuck Berry was not just an enormous innovator of guitar techniques, but also of crime, performing one of the first recorded carjackings in 1944.
Wow.
Wow, innovator.
Yeah. Berry would also go to jail for transporting an underage waitress across state lines in 1959. This guy gets more awesome the more I read this. But the other...
Again, Fun died in 1989.
Yeah.
Before it, that's what rock and roll was about back then.
So I'm curious to know what year this supposed piss party happened. Because, like, did he put it? Like, did he set up a film camera? Like, how much effort?
Here it is. But the other king of rock's most enduring scandal lies in the form of an innocent little video cassette, endlessly duplicated and distributed in the underground, which purports to show Berry urinating on a young girl in a hotel bathtub.
Back then, how do you get caught for anything? Like, back then, how do you get caught for anything? It seems like you could do anything at any time, and there's no recorded history of it.
And especially if it was filmed, like, I don't know if it was a video cassette, maybe it was later when he had VHS or something, but if you're going to do that, like in the 50s, just set up, like, I don't know, an 8mm camera and be like, all right, we're going to get this all set up. We've got, so many minutes of film, go. Like, it was a lot more effort back then. It wasn't, I'm just going to record this on my phone.
Yeah.
And now his measured legacy at this point is his fourth entry is Pee Party on Google. That's pretty much what your legacy is going to be, right?
All right, here, I got to read another little blurb here. This podcast is brought to you by Twitch.tv, the world's largest video game broadcasting chat community. Twitch.tv features video from the top gaming personalities, players, tournaments, leagues, and commentary, in addition to the most active and interesting discussions around video games. One channel to consider is the Mega 64 podcast. To get started discovering awesome games and players, check out Twitch.tv. What a great segue into that read.
I like the idea now of someone at Twitch TV showing someone else at Twitch TV, look what Rooster Teeth Podcast said about us. And they queue it up, and it just is like, piss party.
There's like a billion live stream puns running through my head right now.
I didn't even thought about that. Don't cross the streams. We're going to be, when we start doing our live video podcast, we're going to be streaming it on Twitch. That's where we did the Left 4 Dead playthrough a couple weeks ago.
What is our Twitch account?
RT Podcast.
Okay.
Nice.
So there's the only thing on there right now is the Left 4 Dead playthrough we did a couple weeks ago. But once we get our set built and set up, then we'll start doing some streaming there.
Some asshole took twitch.tv/Montium as if they...
Maybe there's another...
It's the same guy.
Maybe there's another Monty.
No. Same guy who took Haloid.
Maybe it's you from the future.
Like, directly after I made Haloid, Montium.com just got bought instantly.
I gotta go to Montium.com.
I don't know what it is.
If you release any more videos and you have a title for them, before you release them, you got to do your due diligence.
That is good. That is good advice, because I just came up with a really good idea, Bernie, that I have to tell you about later.
We have one of our domains is going to be lapsing this summer, and I just sent out an email to some people asking if we should renew it or not.
Aren't they changing a lot of that, where you can buy .cos and .whatever now?
Yeah, there's like a million of them.
I mean, that's really going to diffract a lot of the... I don't know.
I don't think that shit matters. That shit might matter eventually. All anyone cares about is .com.
Right now.
Do you still have dickfartvaginabutt.com?
Yeah.
Nice.
Why wouldn't I?
Also, I mean, a lot of that stuff is going away anyway, because most people... There's a lot of people who think that the web is dead. There's no such thing as .coms anymore. You just get your Facebook page and you get your Twitter account.
Well, I think what's happening is the web's retracting. Like, I don't know if... I'm sure you remember when the web... Or when people's first experiences with the internet happened in the early 90s, it was through a service like AOL, where you would dial into the service, and it was kind of a walled experience, where you would get your news in there, your chat,
it's like
your
everybody's
email.
portaled through Facebook now?
Now everyone's portaled through mobile apps on their phone.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like, you don't actually visit a website, you just look at an app, which is an encapsulated experience.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's what's happening. No one's going to care about the web. It's just going to be app-driven. You're going to have apps on your laptop. You're going to have apps on your phone.
You ever watch an old person use the internet?
Yes.
You want to stab yourself.
Yes.
Have you ever watched an old person try and check in at the airport?
Dude,
one of those
that's how I feel when I
machines?
watch other people's computers in general. No one's fast enough.
Monty came in, and he was stood behind me for a while. This is probably a few months ago. And he was like, I was like, oh, hey, Monty, what are you doing? He's just like, I'm just watching you work inefficiently. Yeah.
So I was looking up, we had a discussion the other day about registering domain names and letting domain names expire. And so obviously we have some domain names that are very important, like if roosterteeth.com expired.
I know what you're going to talk about.
Kind of a big deal. So I was talking, was it you, Gavin, I was talking about it with today? So we have redversusblue.com is registered right now through January 30th of 2018. And
Okay.
as I'm talking about this, I'll push it out to like as far as I can, which will probably be
Future-proof.
2022
yeah.
at this point. And Rooster Teeth, we currently have registered through July 8th, 2019. So that's as far as I think we do 10 years out as far as we can do.
Did you register those both at the same time?
No.
No, because
No.
Rooster Teeth didn't exist before Red vs. Blue.
That is correct.
Because it's based off Cockbite.
But
Yeah.
how did nobody take it?
Because we didn't say anything about Rooster Teeth at first.
I don't know. I have to go back. I don't know the history of when I
yeah, but-
registered.
Yeah,
it,
how did
but
that
yeah.
come about?
logo-
It's like you guys are deciding a company name. You're just like,
The first episode had the
No, it said
Rooster Teeth.
redversusblue.com.
No,
But it had
actually-
the Rooster Teeth logo.
Yeah, no, I would have registered it as soon as Rooster Teeth went up on the internet. I would have registered it before that because
Yeah.
I'm so we come from that background. Gus and I do.
Very good about that.
We're used to stuff being
You
grabbed.
probably registered Red vs. Blue when you made the initial trailer.
Yeah, in August
the
of
summer
2000
before, and then
2.
when the episodes finally started coming out, you probably registered Rooster Teeth.
And I will register domain names for stuff we just mentioned in a video. Like I have some Halo related ones.
Like you just registered Qualo.
I did chlamydia.com. Actually, it's .co.ou. Yeah. But like I have some ones from Halo videos that we did, and I just went out and grabbed them. Like I have some Bungie and Halo related domains because once you publish like even a joke domain, what I'm always worried about is like, oh, we have a funny thing like whatever.com. And if we just-
Presidential sluts.
that's a great example. So if we mention it in a video, we have to register it because the last thing I want is a URL in one of our videos that then turns into a porn site.
Yeah.
You know, and people end up going to it.
Why is that-
Presidentialsluts.com is actually one that was that. But then I know somebody else out there will grab it if it occurs. So
what is the mentality there? Like they think they're going to get views off of your reference?
I would love an AMA from somebody who does that. Like what is the revenue on a parked website?
Like how much money do they actually make from the ads on there?
Yep.
Because it never seems like they're quality ads. It's just like
Who puts the
really
ads
shitty
on-
Google ads.
Who puts the ads on unregistered websites? Like, are they all pre-bought by a company and then you buy from that company, or are they just loose in the world? Like, how does it work?
You just I
Because
mean
you could buy any unpurchased URL from any company, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like it's still up in the air. Nobody
typically
has
you register like a Google AdSense account or something, and they just put whatever excess inventory they have on there.
it. Right.
So that's why it's always like really crappy ads on there, or ads by Google with all the O's.
Right.
I've never. Who is Google with all those O's? I've never been there.
So you could trademark your name, Monty, and then make a case that you have the trademark from Monty Ohm and go grab all your stuff.
Maybe I'll do that.
But you might not even need to do that with a.
Or you can
Your
change
personal
your
name.
name to Harold.
Doesn't getting a trademark take a long time though?
Or you can change to Monty Oom.
I hate thinking about this stuff.
Trademark does take a while. Actually, a registered trademark takes a while. A trademark really doesn't take. Like the TM is different than the R with the circle.
What's the difference?
So TM, I think you can just do. Like copyright's like that too.
And the other's like years.
Yeah, you have to get registered with the government. You have to prove like you have to put your. We did this with Rooster Teeth. You have to put the Rooster Teeth logo out there. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So we put it out there, and we actually got a rejection for our registered trademark. We had to come back and fight it. That we initially were rejected because somebody complained about the rooster on clothing that we were going to put on T-shirts and things like that. That was their. They want to avoid brand confusion, or they were trademark confusion, and so there was another clothing company called you might know them, Lecoq Sportif.
Yeah.
They have the
Triangle
rooster
with the rooster in it.
Yeah, and they have a rooster on clothing, and they automatically rejected. They said, "Nope, this infringes on our trademark," and we fought it and showed
Well, we
the
should just
difference.
include an alligator
Yeah,
in ours, and then that would fix the problem.
but I've seen our logo used and stolen by other people. Yeah.
I've seen that too.
There was a clothing manufacturer that was using our rooster, and I guess they tried to claim that it was just like a clip art rooster they were using, but we know the guy that drew it.
Whereas the first Rooster Teeth logo was like Google image search. Images
Totally.
of
It was
Yeah.
it was like a metallic rooster and
from a weather vane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
like
some shattering
shattering teeth.
teeth.
I think you can still just find them on Google. They're just still there.
Yeah, it was like episodes 1 through 6, and then I said we need to actually have a real logo for our
Didn't
company.
you use those again recently? Weren't those on the Halo 4 announcement date video?
I doubt it.
No, we didn't.
No.
do that.
No, we wouldn't use it for
Oh
that.
no, it was on the teaser we showed
Teaser
at
was the
PAX.
flaming
Yeah.
rooster.
Yeah.
We might have shown the original one, yeah.
Does the name Rooster Teeth ever make it difficult for you to do anything that isn't comedy?
The brand name Rooster Teeth, it's interesting. I mean, we've talked about the brand name in general, because it's kind of an inside joke in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Not in a way it is. It started that way, but it's one of those things. Once you became known for it, it just established what your brand is. I think that brands tend to transcend their meaning. Like, I never think about what the word Amazon means when I go to Amazon.com.
Yeah.
Amazon is just a place where I go to get books or get whatever. Like, I buy everything through Amazon. But what do you think of when you say Amazon? Like, do you think of a tall woman or do you think of a river?
I think river.
See, I think of a tall woman.
Why?
Amazonian.
What do you mean, why? Do you really answer that question? Why?
Is that what that is?
Amazonian woman.
Oh, I see.
God. Anyways,
So when I say,
Christ, people, come on.
do you really not know that? You didn't know the Amazons? Like, if I say it's a tribe of
I mean,
Amazons?
surely, at the very least, you've seen the episode of Futurama.
No.
Do you know who Wonder Woman is?
Wonder Woman is
Superhero.
Amazonian.
She's
Oh,
Amazon.
all right, fine.
She's tall, but do you ever feel like
I just figured out.
even with branding, Bernie, though, like just the way our logo looks, you know, a rooster and a chattering teeth, just feels inherently comedic, you know.
So we're in the middle of producing some non-comedic
Exactly,
material right
exactly.
now. And I am thinking about that again.
You go to like the people who go to the.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Okay.
Nah.
we might change the way we
I think there's a history of entertainment companies that have had logos like that. It's on for 3 seconds, or in and out. I mean, the fact that it has some sort of weight or meaning to the audience, I think is
Like, I mean,
good.
when I see the DreamWorks logo or I see, you know, Pixar, you know, it just tells me, like, I know what their company does.
What about like something like Bad Robot, where it's just like that
That's a good point.
kind of
Yeah.
like quirky looking little robot that runs through the field and like stops and looks in the
Right, but that one has like almost like it's both kind of innocent and dark. You know, it does two things at once, so they can kind of do both.
I feel like they changed the coloring on it though. Like when they started doing movies, they made it like a little darker.
Oh, they might
and
have,
that
yeah.
kind of portrays
That's true.
that.
That's true. The logos have evolved, right?
You have to be careful with registered trademarks, though, because the spacing and everything is actually set. So when you change it, you've got to go back and re-register the trademark, which can take a
Well,
couple
when you
years.
change
Wow.
the logo physically.
Yep.
Wow.
For it to be a registered trademark, yeah.
So have you thought about just our logo and company name in general in regards to this new stuff that we're trying to put out?
So, like for the non-comedic thing that we're working on right now, we just might not use the logo. You know, we just use the name of the company, but not.
Oh,
use
you
the
know what? I've
name.
seen that done too.
Yeah,
yeah.
and then you just present it that way, and at the end, like at the end of the
Even
credits.
then, Rooster
Or-
Teeth just I don't know why. I see
some,
Rooster.
some of the
Rooster
Registered
could
Blue
just be-
videos are like that, where it just says Rooster Teeth
Yeah,
presents at
I was
the
going to say
beginning.
it's like just the two lines either side of Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, I think when we start doing maybe some reconstruction stuff, we do it that way, and some of the trailers are like that too. But we had a chance at one point to purchase RVB.com, which is a 3-letter domain name, and I thought that was really important because I was like, it was a big deal to get a 3-letter domain name. There was always this talk that there was no 2 letters and no 1-letter.
What, you
domains.
can't get a 2-letter?
They would not allow them.
Do they exist?
Yes,
Okay. Oh, like
PayPal.com.
XE.com and stuff.
Yeah, PayPal.com was X.com.
X.com.
And I recently met the
Wow.
guy who owns XE.com.
Yeah.
And because he funds a lot of web series. And he was talking about that. He was told when he registered XE that no 1-letter domain names were allowed. And he was pissed because PayPal got X.com.
How did they get a hold of that?
I have no idea. It's just early days of land grab. Those things all went really fast. And then when we were doing it,
I
Gus,
didn't realize PayPal was that old. I guess I knew it was.
PayPal started in like '98, I think.
Good God.
So what happened to RVB.com?
So I thought this was really important. I said, hey, we got a chance to buy RVB.com. It was $25,000.
Holy shit.
And this was probably about 3 years ago.
It was longer than that.
Was it?
I thought it was. Oh God, I want to say it was 05.
Was it? No. It wasn't. It was a little because we were pretty well established as RVB. So, but it wasn't really. It was related to Red vs. Blue. It wasn't related to Rooster Teeth. So the discussion was, do we want to spend all this money to have a really cool domain name, but it's still tied to one of our shows,
Right.
You know, even though it's arguably our flagship show. But now RVB.com. It's funny. I just went to it. It goes to a YouTube. When you go to it, goes to a YouTube channel. It
Really?
plays a sexy Mandarin video. So yeah,
That was worth
That sexy
25K.
Mandarin has a lot of money.
but people convinced me that it was not worth
I don't know,
$25,000.
I don't know if URLs are worth it anymore. I don't know.
That's
I mean,
the discussion.
if you're Sears.com, okay, if you're Sears, okay, that makes sense, I
Yeah.
guess. But it's like, otherwise, I don't know if URLs hold the weight anymore. You know, people enter a URL once, maybe. You know, if they really like the site, then they bookmark it. You never look at it again. I don't know.
That's true.
Do,
and like
do you use bookmarks?
Yeah.
also these
Well-
days the browse like if your browser's smart enough, you just type vaguely the word.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's, yeah.
It's just
for
a-
Twitter,
I
just
type in the
see-
general
yeah.
direction and I end up there.
It's still a symbol of like it's a symbol of status still there. Like if you see someone who's got a .net or .org, you're like, you know,
Yeah.
not as impressed by what their company does,
Okay, so here's the
especially if it's Facebook.com/.
or like if they have you can tell if someone's a late adopter too because like on Twitter they have like the real James Earl Jones, or something like
Yeah.
that. They don't have James Earl Jones,
Yeah.
right? Why does Twitter give people their names? That's what I don't understand. I was actually an early adopter on Twitter. I have the @Bernie account. It's just @Bernie.
Well, you should. Why didn't you use that one?
Because @Bernie Burns, it felt like, because all my everything else was
Because
Bernie Burns.
no one ever says Brad. They say Brad Pitt.
Sure, it just felt like better to have Bernie Burns. It just felt like a better idea to start using that
If
account.
you get to the point where you're share, I don't know.
Yeah.
But do we want to be share?
I think when I joined Twitter, I tried to get Gus and I couldn't.
I joined the Rooster Teeth website early enough that I actually got Monty. We didn't have to change it. I was just Monty.
Nice.
Yep.
So you've had the same username the whole.
For like 9 years now? 8 years?
And I got that bastard asshole. No problem. I got it like first bad. No one had taken that.
We were saving it for you, Joel.
Thanks.
Gus, you're one of the few members of roosterteeth.com who never changed their username.
Well, I was user number 3, so I got to get my pick of
Yeah,
what I
everyone
wanted.
else picked different names and then changed them.
Oh.
Like,
Well, Gus is easy. It's like a 3-letter. I feel like there's no...
well, I'm sitting in the room right now with Busby and Joact,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's originally Busby.
who are now Bernie and Joel. You're Joel now, right? Or are you still Joel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just figured Gus was really easy. 3 letters,
Yeah.
Gus.
Yeah.
Hard to misspell unless you're taking my fucking name to put me on the list to get a table at a restaurant. Then it's Gus with 2
Well,
S's.
no matter what your name
Really?
is, like when you go to a restaurant, it's always like Joel Porter. No matter, you always hear Joel.
Speaking of which, I went to that... restaurant made me think about this. I went to that restaurant in San Antonio this week in Lulu's. The place with the 3-pound cinnamon buns. Have you seen this place?
Holy shit.
It was on Man vs. Food.
Aaron Flash told me about him.
Yeah, and...
What's the over under of that guy dying? Never mind. Go ahead. Keep going.
and I will never go back there again.
Why?
Because I got there, like we drove, like an hour or whatever to get there. We got there like at 12:30. I put my name on the list. It took me an hour and 45 minutes to get a fucking table.
Nope.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
No.
I
Can't.
was like,
No,
no,
thank you.
no, I'll never go back. The cinnamon bun was huge, but it's like it's a huge cinnamon one.
Was it you, Gus, who said that when we go to events, you go to the most expensive restaurant because there's no way?
Bernie pointed that out, but
Yeah, because I saw the credit card bills.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, the cinnamon bun. deflect.
Listen, I don't really have a lot of judgment of the employees, but I'll tell you what, there is this thing that happens once a month, and that is we get the credit card statement, and Yvonne, who is our vice president of operations, she recently promoted, congratulations, Yvonne, she sends out the credit card statement, and we all have to go through and update our charges, and I'll see, like, my section, Bernie, is like 4 charges, and then Joel's like 8 charges, Matt's like 15, and then fucking Gus is like 8,000 charges.
I know this. Like I every month I look at that too. I'm like the number of lines I have is like everyone else's added together times 5.
It is amazing. You were like,
So
What is it?
You have a problem.
Is it like coffee?
No. It's like lots of equipment and
Oh,
travel.
okay.
So like
It's
we just went through PAX and
Right,
stuff
right.
like that. So it's just like tons of shit for that.
I prescribed to the restaurant thing because when we were at PAX East, I was like, I'm going to get the most expensive lobster possible.
I like.
Well, when we had that meeting, and you were like, "Hey, that red light on that thing went off. That's going to be a credit card charge."
Oh right.
but the amount you have, it's like 8 a day. I mean, it's like just when you break it down by just a month period and you divide Gus's lines, it's like if I had to get on my credit card 8 times a day, I'd be like, something's going wrong.
You just memorize
Oh, yeah.
it. It's just
Do you have your credit
Yeah.
card numbers memorized?
Yeah.
So do I.
like I don't. That freaked my wife out when we first got married. But I never have to grab my wallet because I know all of my credit card numbers, the CIDs, the expiration dates.
I'm the same way.
I don't want to spend money that fast. I mean, just in my own personal life.
That makes sense.
I don't want to know.
Do you know what's dumb about this country? You can spend money on someone else's credit card.
How can you spend money
Well, you can.
on someone else's credit
sure
card?
you can.
Well, like Faith just got her card stolen, and then someone was like spent like $600 on a card immediately.
it's
In the UK, chip and pin on every purchase. There's no swipe and sign
in
anymore.
Australia, they were very, very structured about it, and it's like there was a whole process.
Well,
It's
it
like they wouldn't
doesn't-
even hand me the card back.
It doesn't make any sense that you're signing. I mean, what does that do? What are you signing?
Someone in London where we went for MCM, I tried to buy some food for us in the booth. So I walked up to the place. I told him what I wanted. I gave him my credit card, and he would not take it because it wasn't chip and pin.
Well, yeah, you could be
He
using
was like,
someone's card.
he was like, how do I do this? I was like,
but
just swipe it.
At
Swipe
the
it and
end
give me
of
my
the day,
fucking food.
What you're saying is crimes are easy to commit, and you know what? Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Crimes are easy to
It
commit.
seems ridiculous that you can use someone else's card without having to know any number.
It's
Seems awesome.
It's this. It's this.
What about the
I didn't
internet?
know. I wasn't aware.
So, like for chip and pin, like let's say I stole your chip and pin card and I went to Amazon and made purchases. How would Amazon authenticate the pin?
Well, that's the thing. You
because
don't
you have a
steal the
number
pin
with-
because the pin is something you
A lot
remember.
of companies
Whereas-
have a
Well, no,
number.
I'm curious about this checkout process.
okay.
Does it ask for it?
Well,
or
like-
could I just use the number and buy it online?
With my credit card, when I try and buy something online, it will go through the checkout of that website, and then it will take me to my bank's thing.
Oh,
where I'll
fuck
put in a
that.
code.
I hate that shit.
And then
No,
it's
no.
like,
I wasn't-
done.
I
I'll
wasn't-
just put in my pin.
I wasn't aware of this until Gavin came here, and Bernie pointed it out constantly. But I guess there's like a more protectionist mentality,
FPOS.
right?
Isn't that what's called? FPOS?
Is that what it's called? I just like watching Americans put their cards into our machines because they put them in and take them out immediately, and the machine's like, because they're like,
Oh, they have a motor in there, right?
Because you're not swiping. So what it'll do is you'll put your card in, it'll read the chip, and it'll hold your card. But if you pull it out like just before it holds it, the machine just gets really confused. And I just like watching Americans just go like, and it's like that nothing's happening. With
You
the
need
machine.
a hobby.
That's his hobby. Watching Americans use the chip and pin.
Constructive
watching
hobby.
bumbling
And shaving
Americans.
half
You
your
should
beard
lose
off.
friends. Rob
Yeah,
does
Monty. In general, in the UK, there's a higher degree of protectionism. Also, there's privacy doesn't seem to be as big a deal in the
You
UK.
still have privacy, just not in public. But why would you want? What were you going to do in public that you wouldn't? I mean, there's no cameras in your home.
They see the cameras is the big thing that we talk about. There's
Right.
cameras all over the place in the UK, and there's people that run them. They're manned cameras. So they can.
London, the entire economy of London is based off of drunk people videos that they're able to capture and put out into the world economy because they have the
I love
cameras
that-
are running all the time.
That dude's journey was followed all the way home. You can see every
Yeah, you
step
can
of
see
his
everything.
bumbling, face ground journey.
That's worth it. That's worth it.
When civilization collapses and eons from now, an alien race or a future race on Earth finds our culture underground, the way they're going to document everything that happened in our culture is from UK CCTV videos, archives, or it's going to be entirely reconstructed from dashboard cams in Russia. Why does everyone in Russia own a dashboard
I don't
cam?
know.
Did you see that one of the guy? Of the guy with, where it's like pointing at him, it's not pointing out. He's just got one arm on the other seat. He's just driving along like this, and all of a sudden it's like, and because the camera's fixed to the car, you just see him like hit the side of the car and then be on the ceiling, and then he goes all around. He ends up in the back seat upside down.
I've seen that. That's
And it's
awesome.
the best
Please,
video.
please send that to me.
And the thing is, you see him because I think he fell asleep or
He
was drunk
fell
or something.
asleep.
And you see him wake up, and my reaction, if I woke up driving, would probably be to put both hands on the wheel and try and correct. He had one arm over the seat, and he wakes up, and he keeps going with one arm. He's like, "Ooh!" and he leaves it up.
My favorite,
My funniest reaction.
my current favorite is the dash cam where the guy's driving, then he stops for a pedestrian, and the pedestrian kind of throws himself on the hood to make it look like he got hit by the car.
I haven't seen that one. What was the one where the dude?
Well, now we
ate-
know why they all have dashboard cams.
What was the one where the
guess so.
dude, the cop was emptying the guy's pockets on the hood, and then the dude ate some evidence.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
He just like leans down. He's like,
That guy is dedicated. I mean, he did not let the situation get him down. He was like, "Okay, I've got to deal with this. This is my moment."
I need to catch up on all these.
He's
things.
just like
They
looking
got him on the
down.
hood of the car, of the cop car. So he's facing the dash
And
cam,
then-
and they're emptying his pockets in front of him.
Uh-huh.
And they like got him leaned over, and one of the things they pull out
It was
was
like a ball of heroin or something.
a hold-up note.
Oh, hold up.
And he sees the piece of paper, it's right in front of him, and so he's just sitting there, and he just casually leans down and eats the hold-up note.
That's awesome.
He's awesome, dude. I love that guy. That guy. If I was a judge, I'd be like, okay, you can get out of jail.
I can just imagine him looking down, just thinking, "Well, that's incriminating."
I'd like to hear that testimony in court. where
I'm
it's
great
like,
at bobbing for apples. I'm
Your
going down.
Honor, I was very hungry.
Yeah.
I had not eaten.
I'm hypoglycemic. I needed to get some food. That was my special sugar.
So I'm gonna show Joel this video from the guy crashing that Gavin was talking about. We'll put it linked up.
All right.
I love this so much.
Well, already this guy looks awesome. This guy's made for comedy.
This is the guy who falls asleep and rolls the car.
Yep. Man, I just couldn't imagine what it'd be like to wake up and just be in a crash while you're waking up. It's like,
Have I ever told you about the stupid thing I did when I was really tired and driving to Houston one time? I was driving to Houston. I used to own this old, like, 1985 Isuzu pickup truck, like one of those tiny, shitty trucks. And
I remember that thing.
it was a manual transmission. So I was driving with a friend of mine to go down to Houston to visit Frank. And I was really tired. I slept the night before. My friend didn't know how to drive a manual transmission, so I had to drive. So we're on 71, like out in the middle of nowhere, past Smithville, and I'm really tired. And I tell my friend, "Hey, if I close my..." I can't believe I did this. I'm driving. I'm like, if I close my eyes, can you hold the steering wheel?
Wow.
And drive us? And he's like, yeah, sure, okay. So like, I put my head down and I like kind of doze off with my feet on the pedal still. And then, so my eyes are closed.
And he was cool.
He was cool doing
He was
it.
like, yeah, no problem.
And then just like, because I was nervous, I kind of opened my eyes and looked up and looked over at him, and he had fallen asleep. His hand on the wheel, reached over. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? So I woke up to like, my foot on the gas, just going fucking down the highway.
God, you're like Pineapple Express.
Yeah, but
Jesus.
Supposedly, whenever
I should have died.
Whenever you like,
You might be dead.
maybe you are dead. But supposedly, whenever you sort of nod off and just suddenly wake yourself up, you've been asleep for at least 6 seconds, even if it feels like you just shut your eyes.
Really?
That's pretty scary, right? 6 seconds of driving.
I've done the drive from LA to Dallas probably about
How
10,
long is that
15
drive?
times. Well, I've done it in 19 hours, which is I think pretty
Is that
impressive.
you in your car
I've done
gunning it?
I've done it everywhere from 19 hours to 27 hours.
Okay.
You know, so there's some great, flexibility in there. But yeah, it's like you've definitely had those moments, where you're just, I am so tired and comfortable right now.
Is there anywhere to stop
You
in
have this
between?
conversation in yourself where it's like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to close one eye.
But I was
I'm gonna be like a shark.
I'm just going to close one eye.
I'm gonna put half my brain to sleep.
You have this conversation with yourself where it's just like you get caught up in how
See,
comfortable
the thing
you
is,
are.
I feel like if I was sleepy, like let's say like later tonight, at midnight or whatever, right? If I was tired, if I was like, I'm going to go to sleep, and I went to my car and I sat, like just parked in my driveway. If I sat in my car and tried to sleep, I don't think I could fall asleep just sitting in my car.
Yeah, but
I can fall asleep a lot of places, but I feel like sitting up like that is just weird. But
unless
Well,
you're
if I'm in
moving.
an airplane, it's not possible for me to sleep.
Did
So-
you sleep at all on the trip to and from Australia this time? Joel, that is baffling. How is that possible?
Very bad.
What
yeah.
do you do? Just watch like 9 movies?
I fidget a lot. It's a lot of fidgeting.
You're
basically.
fidgeting right now. We're not flying anywhere.
And it's basically just like it becomes a conversation where it's like, if I get up, am I going to bother
Yeah.
that guy who's sitting next to me?
No. If I was awake for an entire Australian flight,
It's awful.
I would have to kill at least one person
You know what I did?
just to make it by.
Is I watched The Walking Dead
Oh yeah.
all the way to Australia. I watched it. I watched the whole series.
And what did you
then
think?
I got there.
Yeah.
I was sitting at the table, and this little kid walks up to the table, and he's like, "Hey, I'm a huge fan of you guys." And it was the kid from Walking Dead.
It was Carl?
It was Carl.
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh my god, Carl, you're out of the house. Get back in the house." I was like,
If
"No,
I
you
met
can't."
Carl in person, I would grab him by the front of his shirt and go, "Get in the fucking house."
It was great. He was awesome. He's like a big fan. I gave him a zombie shirt, zombie plant shirt.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
awesome.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I met the Harry Potter twins also.
the Harry Potter twins?
The two
Ron
guys
older
with-
brother.
Yeah, the two.
It's a long story.
She was
Mine,
like,
but
I'm
they
a
have
huge-
chlamydia now.
He's like,
Jeez.
Tee-hee, Joel, I'm a huge fan of the Harry Potter twins. Tee-hee, will you please give them this note in the green room? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to give them the note. I'm not going to do that. Tee-hee, will you please give them the note? And it's like, I'm not. All right, let me see the note. No, you can't read the note. You can't read the note. I'm like, I'm not going to give them the note if you're not going to read the note. No, you can't read the note. And basically, it was like a note about a band.
You read
that
the
she
note.
likes. I read the note.
You scumbag.
Not only did you read the note, you're repeating it in front of millions of people.
She has a boyfriend. She can't be passing tee-hee notes to the
Who's
Harry
this?
Potter twins.
Who we talking
Joel,
about?
She absolutely can. That's totally fine.
No, she hates me for it. But
Wait,
it's I
who
did
is this?
what I'm
Who we talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. We gotta cut that.
Yeah, we should beep the name.
No,
Lindsay.
no, she doesn't mind. It was just it was a
She-
totally
she goes for
innocent.
RTX.
Yeah, she doesn't mind. You can't read it, but
no-
millions of people can listen.
And I also met a big comedian who I don't remember who he is at all.
Big
but
fat or big famous?
big famous comedian.
Okay.
Don't know who he is.
What's his name?
I don't know. But he met. You know who he met? He met Ivan Stravinsky. I met a famous guy who met a famous person. Oh my god! Oh my god!
I think you killed.
Unbelievable!
You killed Bernie.
I met a guy. I don't know who he is. What's his name? Maybe we can figure it out. We know his name, then we can figure out who he is.
Maybe we can figure out who he is. if we know
Oh,
his name.
jeez. Bernie is so red.
Bernie is so red.
Why is he so red?
With this podcast, even if we know someone's name, we're probably not going to figure out who it is. God, I hope that vein doesn't burst in your foot.
Stupid quick.
That was pretty stupid.
I killed Bernie again.
We
Oh my god!
you totally have derailed the podcast.
I'm sorry. I'm
You
sorry.
derailed my story.
I'm sorry.
I'm too drunk now to get back on track.
Was there a
Bernie
track?
needs a drink.
You met a comedian.
And yeah, I forgot.
Okay.
But it was a funny story.
I'm sure.
I met a lot of people.
So
I feel like when we used to go down to those, like I haven't been down to Australia or New Zealand for a while for one of those events, but I feel like every time I would go down there, I was always staying in the same hotel with like Jewel State and what's her name, the consort from Firefly.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Who is also the lead alien in V?
Yeah.
I talked to her.
Oh, you did you?
I talked to her a lot.
So she's still down there. Does she
She's
live
still
down there?
I don't know. Well, apparently she's from Brazil. I got
Oh, that
really
explains a
drunk.
lot.
I got really drunk and I flailed at her because she.
You flailed at her? Did you try to hit her?
I verbally flailed at her.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I didn't physically flail at her. I verbally flailed.
how do
at
you
her.
verbally flail?
Well, you walk up to her and you go, "Hey, are you from Brazil?" And she goes, "Yeah." And then
So she flailed back.
no,
I
actually,
think
she
she
was
was
very like poignant and dignified and poised, and I was just a drunk guy. Her panel was after our panel, and so she came back. I offered her warm beer for my backpack.
What a gentleman!
What a gentleman! And she was like, "What do you do for a living?" And I'm like, "Are you from Brazil?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm from Brazil."
We covered this.
So the thing is, they've done studies, right? Where if you're around an attractive woman, your IQ drops.
Is that
Which
true?
They did a study
Bernie,
with boobs, but
they have done studies.
they did studies. The government.
Joel,
This is where our
When
tech
you're
comes
around a
how many,
women.
how many beers have you had so far?
He's only on his third.
Hey Joel, how many pretty women are in the room right now?
It is true though that no like really hot woman could be into guys because every guy's like we talked about this the
Yeah.
other day with Angry Boobs who works at that place. We talked about that.
She's not that hot.
She is Joel.
Dude, if you
incorrect.
met the girl from Firefly,
Okay.
she's like a punch in the fucking face.
Who's Angry Boobs? The girl who worked at
She used to work at Royal and Fork.
Yep.
So I'd go with Jeff.
I
Sometimes.
talked to her at
Yeah.
the read through, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, you used to work at Thing."
Yeah,
the
I
thing
was
of the
there.
thing. And
So-
she was, and it went very
She
well.
works at the place we had our South by Southwest party.
Did it go well?
No, it went really well, and
You
then
were
I
like-
dismissed her.
You were like,
I
hey,
dismissed her.
You used to work
Oh,
at
she
Royal and
was there.
Fork, right? And she
Yeah.
was like,
Hold on, it's like 4 conversations going on at once. You guys talk. What are you guys talking about?
It doesn't matter.
Angry Boobs?
This is
Buddy, stop it!
I've never met this person.
so how do you think
This is the thing that guys do is give women terrible names.
How do you think this sounds, Bernie? Joel goes up to Angry Boobs and he says, "Hey, you used to work at Royal and Fork, right?" And she was like,
no,
"Yeah,
no,
3 years ago."
No.
That didn't
is
go well.
not.
That conversation didn't go well.
No. I am the first one to dump on my own self in a conversation with her. I mean, I really am. That conversation went well. One of the very few.
Is that how it turned out, though? That conversation.
Well, I
Is
just missed her
Okay.
because I was just trying to engage her in conversation for you and Jeff. I didn't
Yeah.
really care. I was just they were like, "Hey, is that her? Is that her? Is that her?" So we'll just go talk to her.
Yeah.
And so I said, "Hey, you used to work at this place,"
Well-
and she was happy to be acknowledged. She said, "That's right, I did used to work at that place."
guess.
I'm like, "That's awesome."
we were just.
And then I said, "Are you from Brazil?"
I will say I was pretty surprised how nice Jessica Negri was.
Why?
When I met
Did you
her.
expect
She was
to be
just she was,
mean?
I don't know, she was just very like, welcoming and
Where'd you meet her at PAX East?
PAX East. It was great. She was
She seemed very nice.
yeah, we should bring her down for RTS.
She would
Is
have.
she from Brazil?
It seems like she would have to be nice, or she would just stop doing that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
You got to talk to a lot of people.
You
And,
gotta be a people person.
yeah, totally.
I'm not.
Me neither.
Yeah,
Why are we sending you to Australia if you're not a people person?
I don't know.
How many times have you been to Australia now?
That's just twice.
So you did the flight the first time, and then you thought, "Yeah, I want to do that again."
You know who I sat down the road for was Edwards James Olmos.
Really?
Who's that?
Yeah.
Who's that?
I don't know.
He's the captain of Battlestar Galactica.
Oh,
it was
okay.
the original.
That is Edward James Olmos.
Edwards James.
Not,
Olmos.
not whatever name you said.
What did I say?
You said something about Brazil.
I said, "Are you from Brazil?"
You said it all as one syllable, which I found to be pretty impressive right now.
I think you called him Edward James Solmos, which may have thrown you
I
off.
love the fact that they had a whole lineup of real celebrities, and I'm in the lineup, and
Yeah.
I'm the one guy who's just sort of gallivantingly drunk across.
Gallivanting Lee
Gallivanting drunk is just, who's this? Who?
So where's Marshall in all this? Where's he?
Drunk?
Marshall, he was around. He was around. He has a, he doesn't,
Should we bring Marshall down to defend himself or what's about to happen?
I had a whole thing, but I can't get into it because I'm too drunk.
I saw a video show up in the RT Life submissions folder of you giving some pretty in-depth investment advice to what looks like a fan. Did that happen? Was that a thing?
Probably, yeah.
Were you doing that?
Well, that video obviously
something
happened.
I was wondering if that was the thing that was happening
you know
like
what
the
my thing
weekend.
was? My thing was is that people would come up, dressed cosplay or whatever as various characters.
Yeah.
And based on whatever character they were, like if you were a video game fighting character, I would then send them to fight Marshall. Or if they were like a space alien, I would send them to like
Fight
infect Marshall. Yeah, or whatever it was.
If they were a
I'd just send them-
koala, you'd send them to pee on Marshall.
That's exactly right. So that was my little game that I was going to play. Is like whatever they were cosplay, I wanted them to send over like poke Marshall, whatever. And to the fans' credit, they did not do that, which is good because you shouldn't do that. But I still try to bait them in.
Yeah.
Gavin and I are going to Australia.
Yeah.
When are you going?
So we will be at Supernova in Sydney, June 15th through June 17th.
Isn't that the one that Joel just went to?
No, he went to
different
Melbourne and Gold
cities,
Coast.
yeah.
Supernova is like a Comic-Con there. It sort of travels around.
Oh,
Are you going to Perth?
And then we're going to Perth,
Oh man,
June 22nd to June 24th.
Perth is
On
the
the
city
west
that's way the
coast.
hill on the west
on the
coast,
West
right?
Coast.
And it's like
Yep.
it's the only thing out there. It's the only thing on that side of the country.
In fact, we're so far out that they said you should not fly from Perth back to the U.S. because it's so far that you should stop somewhere along the way. So Gavin and I might stop in
New Zealand?
Japan.
Oh man,
Wait a minute. Isn't Japan further west?
I don't believe it is. It's just
You
we're
fuckers.
gonna go.
This
up
is gonna
north and
be-
take a right.
Bernie, I
Right
wanna go.
now, this is a fun thing for Bernie.
What?
And Gavin is going, yes, I will go to Japan.
Yeah, why is Gavin going?
He really wants to go. He's already on the
He
list.
really wants
Japan.
to go to Japan.
I
Why are
wanna
you
go to
looking?
Japan.
Why are you
So
saying it like this?
Gavin is going to go to Japan
Yeah.
with Bernie.
Yep.
And he's all wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and all that stuff. But after this experience, you're going to be like,
Yep.
fucking why did I
Is there an
go to Japan?
event you're going to in Japan, or are you
you-
just going
no.
to Japan?
I'll be
No.
damned. You're right. Perth is further west than Japan.
Perth is almost under India.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize how far north Japan is. I thought it was down there.
You should go to India instead. You should go east. Go east.
Dude, we could go to
Tokyo is
India.
about even with a little bit. It's like between San Francisco and Los Angeles on the West Coast.
We could stop off in India and you could get that head massage from that dude
I would do that.
who puts you to sleep when you watch the video.
Babu.
Wait,
I would find that.
do you know his name?
Yeah.
Where he's rubbing someone's head and he's like, and he's like pulling all this energy down from the ceiling.
Do you know there are people who have traveled to India and found his shop and put
Yes.
up other videos?
Yes.
I will do
And
that.
like they've had videos of
Apparently-
them, and he's like full commitment every time. He gets right in there. He gets his fingers right in their head. He's like-
Cosmic energy, just pulling it down. He's like putting it on you. Oh,
and then
it's
he like
awesome. We'll have to link the
sprays
video.
their head down, and it's like
and
it's
then you
really
guys
relaxing to watch.
are going to get chlamydia.
If you watch this video, you would fall asleep on your plane. That's what you should do.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
This
well, I
guy-
wish I'd known about it earlier.
because he's done it. You watch the video and it makes you
Yeah.
fall asleep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could use help falling asleep.
Do you really? What's wrong, Money?
I never. I have this. I
talk
have this
about it.
dumbass problem
Get
where
it
I
out.
can't fall asleep unless I'm trying to stay awake.
That's an interesting problem.
Yeah.
That's why, like,
I get that.
I told you I lost my tablet the other day. I need to be watching something, so I just got to lug my laptop home now. I need to be watching something and trying to be attentive to it in order to fall asleep.
But you
You
if I'm
just
trying
need,
to
you
fall
just need
asleep-
a relationship.
I have
You need a
girlfriend.
woman in your life
I have a
who's
girlfriend.
going to have stories for you to have to
She's
listen
just not
to.
here.
She's going to
Oh,
talk
I
to
see.
you.
I need to bring her here to talk to me.
She's going to talk to you, and you're going to have to
Monty,
pay attention.
Can
to
I
those
tell
stories.
you? I can't tell you. I will fly. Can I say your name?
But
we-
yeah, absolutely.
I would fly Hootie down here and put her up if you would do a podcast with Hootie and we can ask her questions about what it's like to be in a relationship with Monty O.
Oh, jeez.
That would be. Wouldn't that be
That would
fascinating?
be fascinating.
Yeah.
It would be fascinating.
You always
Monty,
shuttle her around.
Monty.
Like you'll introduce her
Monty.
and then move her away very quickly, so
Monty.
you can never like.
Let me give you a little bit of advice.
I don't know if she knows much about my life though,
Monty,
lately. Because
Monty, as I was talking to Gavin about going to Japan, this is going to be your Japan.
okay, okay.
You
This
don't.
will be your
this is-
personal Japan.
You don't want this. It seems fun and happy, but this is going to end up bad for you. Don't listen to them. Don't trust them.
Okay.
So you're on date. You're on like regular human time right now.
Yeah, I mean, I woke up at 5.
Yeah.
I came in at shortly after.
Because usually I arrive and you're like
already
you've been
ready to
working
go
for
to
like
bed. I'm awake now.
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, I saw you at the Starbucks this morning, and I was really concerned that my time was fucked up. I was like, if I run into Monty like at the coffee shop, like something's fucked up.
Is it nighttime?
I was like, oh shit.
It's because my days is like a day and a half, so it just like trickles over, and now I'm on like a daytime week.
Monty is usually quite somber, and yesterday I went into the studio and I had like, he was so jolly, and we had like a really long conversation. You were like animated. It was amazing. I'd never seen that before.
Inquisitive. I feel like talking to Gavin, having Gavin on the podcast might help me on the podcast because I'm not very good on the podcast.
We were talking about like
Filmmaking.
what can,
Monty, you're great on the podcast.
No. I'm not quick.
we
Like,
were talking about our perceptions of time. And like
yeah.
how,
There was like I have responses to things you've talked about in the past on the podcast, but I'm never on the podcast. So I like, for example, one time Bernie, you were like, "What's the movie that got ruined the most by a trailer?" And you were
Go
like,
ahead.
I forgot what you listed, but
Mine probably would have been Mission Impossible.
no. The one that got ruined the most was Terminator 2.
Oh no, you're right. You're absolutely
Why?
right.
Because if
how
you-
much better would it have been if you didn't know Arnold Schwarzenegger
And I
was a
knew-
good guy?
I knew a guy- I knew
you
a
watch
guy
the
who
first 20
purposely-
minutes of that movie, and you don't know who the good guy is.
I knew a
There's
guy-
like all these hints back and forth about
Right.
the T-1000.
Oh, so they
stuff.
spelled that in the
You're
trailer.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I knew a guy went to the movie who purposely did not watch the trailers.
Yeah.
And I was sitting next to him, and when that moment of the reveal came,
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh my god!"
Was he the only
was
one?
the only one in the theater. He was the only one in the theater. He's like, "Oh my god!" And the rest of the audience like responded to him.
Because back
You know?
then, ad campaign comes out. I'm like 10 years old, and I'm like, and Arnold's the big superstar, and you're like, as a 10-year-old, like, oh yay, this is the one where he's a good guy this time, and it's like put up well in front, and you see the T-1000 diving liquid through the chopper,
Absolutely.
slicing people up. And it's
Absolutely.
like, if none of that, like that's part of why the Matrix was so successful. It's because you didn't see any of it. You didn't know what the twist was.
It's true. It's true.
and it kills you because like, why do they present it as a twist when everybody knows?
yeah, so like you watch the first 20
It's-
minutes of Terminator 2 without the context of knowing the bad guy.
It's like you got to watch public consumption as part of the equation, and
Right.
like how you're going to present it before you present it, and it's absolutely true.
Like so
you
many
know?
little things. Like when T-1000 steals the cop's uniform, he punches him in the stomach, but you hear a slicing noise. And like you see the silver mannequin when he throws Arnold out the window for the first time.
He's in the trailer.
No, this is all in the movie. And as
Okay.
you're watching it, these are all hints as to what the fuck is going on. But you already know, and that's like the biggest problem.
It's true.
There's nothing lamer than a twist that you saw coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I hate about The Prestige. It ends on a big twist, like the last shot of things, like a big twist, like and the big music, like, da-da, and you're like, yeah, we've known that for 20 minutes. You showed us this 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I don't know
wonder-
if you ever saw the Korean movie Old Boy, but
Yeah.
it's kind of the same way. There's a big twist at the end
Oh,
that like
God,
I
yeah.
saw immediately, and then they get to it, and I'm like, this movie's stupid. But I'm the only person I know who's like, I didn't like that movie. It was like so telegraphed.
It's funny because if you could have one group both controlling the product and the marketing of the product, you could really manipulate audiences in a better way. And it's just sort of like the marketing groups are up against it.
Yeah.
When it comes to the selling of the story, it's like here's a director and you see him on set spending all the time and energy trying to, but it doesn't matter because it's already ruined.
Yeah.
Did you see the new Prometheus trailer?
Yeah, it just came out this weekend.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw
there's
it.
another one?
yeah.
Great, great trailer.
Can we stop the trailer thing where every trailer doesn't have music anymore? It's just like and then fade in. And
No,
fade
no.
out,
What
and-
I hate about trailers is when they do the flickering effect, where you just see
yeah.
like flashes.
I am going to cut a trailer with just Gavin going.
The very cool thing that is in all those Prometheus trailers, though, is the weird siren at the end that was in the original Alien trailer. That's cool.
That was a great. I
I'll
enjoyed
have to
the
watch it.
Did you guys see the Cabin in the Woods?
I actually saw that. Remember that 24-hour film festival that I
Oh,
went
was in
to
that?
back in December? Yeah, it was there.
It's one of those movies that everyone's just talked about too much that now I don't want to see it.
If you go back
See,
and listen to the
I
podcast,
purposely-
it's the one movie that we were not allowed to discuss.
I
we couldn't tweet
purposely-
about it. We couldn't write about it. We couldn't podcast.
Yeah,
about it.
I purposely kept myself from any knowledge of it whatsoever. I only knew someone said unicorn. To
Is
me,
that
was all I know.
Is that the one where the trailer is like there's a giant force field?
Okay,
We're not going to
that ruins a huge thing in the movie.
Oh, okay.
That's another good example.
But it's in the
don't-
trailer right now.
They don't need that shot. Another movie after Monty just said it.
With the
You
eagle,
don't
right?
need to watch a trailer for Cabin in the Woods before you go see it. There's one
Are
shot.
we allowed,
that,
are we allowed to talk about this?
It's out. It's out in the public.
Yeah, it's on the
You're talking about
trailer
spoilers?
out.
Yeah.
I see. That's the thing. It's already ruined for me. I saw the trailer. I'm like, this looks dumb.
Well, you know what?
Yes,
At the end of the day, it's a good movie. I
Okay.
enjoyed it, but this isn't like this isn't like it's not super important. There's other movies.
There's also a new Dark Knight Rises trailer.
I
that
just
came
saw
out.
that before I
See,
watched
they
it.
don't need a trailer for the next Batman movie.
Yeah.
They just need a date and the Batman logo.
You're right.
And that's it.
People
You're
are going to
right.
watch it.
What?
The last one was so huge, just tell people, hey, remember that thing you liked? There's another one.
Especially if you go, this is the. I mean, if this is truly the end,
they should put-
all you have to say is this is the end.
They do need pictures of Anne Hathaway dressed up as Catwoman in their trailer, though.
we all agree on that. Is she Catwoman or?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we all agree on that.
Yeah.
I have a
I'll watch that movie.
When did multiple trailers start happening?
Yeah.
Like when did new trailers come along? Like every few months.
I don't
Well,
know.
now
when
the big thing
movies
is
need
people
to make-
put teasers out early.
Oh.
Like they put teasers that tease the trailer
Yeah.
that teases the movie.
And then when you try and look it up online, you have to watch another teaser for.
Or the problem is you try to look it up online. You're like, is this the one I saw already, or is this another one? Nope, this is the one. No, yeah, this
I
is-
watched
no,
a trailer on YouTube that had a trailer as the pre-roll. Is this pretty
I
funny?
actually
to watch a trailer to watch a trailer.
Yeah, I tried to watch a specific trailer and it was the exact trailer. Is that what you're talking about? It was
Yeah.
the exact trailer you
Oh,
wanted.
no,
but-
it was a different
Yeah,
trailer.
I think I was looking for a trailer for a game and the pre-roll ad was a 30-second trailer for the game, which played before the 30-second trailer for the game.
And you think you're looking at the wrong video?
It's
That's
like,
the initial
it's
thing
like
that happens.
Reality slowly turns into an Onion article.
Pretty much.
I mean, it really does.
It does.
I mean,
You're
it's-
absolutely right, Joel.
I mean, it really does.
That's probably the Onion is probably just people from the future, writing stuff. It's a real newspaper, and they just like
That's right. There's like we try and give them some information, but they just laugh at it.
yeah. It's like we're trying to tell them what's going to happen. But I busted out the extended edition Lord of the Rings Blu-rays this weekend because I was going to show it to my kid. I said, you have to watch it. And he's like, I don't like medieval stuff. Because I was trying to get him to play Skyrim, too. And he's like, no, I don't like medieval
Really, I
stuff.
don't like medieval stuff.
So I said, okay, here, just watch this first movie. And he watched the first 2 minutes, and it was like, I just backed slowly out of the room. His eyes got to be big like dinner plates. And yeah,
Was it Fellowship?
yeah, Fellowship,
Yeah.
yeah. And he described, he didn't know any of the names, so he's like, I like when the old guy fought the old guy. That was a classic battle, he said. So, but the weird thing about it was, the Blu-ray, I'm not kidding you, dude. This is the extended edition Blu-ray. It probably was like $120 when I bought it when it first came out.
Good
It's
Lord.
got like 45 Blu-rays, the damn thing.
Yeah.
I can't believe Lord of the Rings Fellowship, it doesn't fit on one Blu-ray.
Oh, really?
They still split it on Blu-ray.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's outrageous.
It's a lot of discs. Fucking thing had 6 trailers before it. It's like, are you kidding me?
There's something new that some Blu-rays are doing, which I really hate. Like, part of the Blu-ray spec is Blu-ray players can be internet connected. So there's some Blu-rays when you put them in,
They'll
it
have-
downloads or it starts streaming a new trailer
no.
for something that's not
really,
yet.
really,
So,
that's
like,
terrible. And if it's Sony, they're just downloading a virus.
The Bridesmaids Blu-ray does this. I know for a
Allegedly.
fact. Anytime you put it in, and when you put it in, it tries to spin it. It tries to spin it
It's
to
like
a
this-
different
it's like this
context.
with games, it's
where
like,
it's like,
yeah.
I'm going to talk over you, Joel, because I'm talking. So the screen pops up and it's like customizing your trailer experience. It's like bullshit. You're not customizing my trailer experience. You're just getting some new shit to show me.
It's like certain video games where it's like you stick the thing in, updates. It's like, those aren't fucking updates, those are fucking ads. You motherfuckers. It's true. Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero was one of the first games to do that, where it's like, I'm updating. It's like, the only thing that's changed in the game
So it's just
is
reloading
the
the ads.
background ads have changed.
Did they do? I thought a lot of times they could stream those without having to do an update, though. I guess.
Any ad in a video game is for some reason way more annoying than an ad.
It
in a game.
doesn't bother me.
I don't mind it.
I don't mind it.
I don't
yeah.
mind it if it gives the developers more money.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's
Yeah.
just not have another loading bar.
There was one of the Splinter Cell games was sponsored by Airwaves, and the way they advertised that was like in every cutscene there'd be a blimp flying in the sky with Airwaves on it. That is too much. I'm looking at Sam Fisher. There's a blimp.
The Lord of the Rings Blu-ray extended edition is 15 discs for 3
How
movies.
long is that from beginning to end?
I don't know. It's a lot. Monty would probably
I would
watch some
love
of
that.
I'll bring it in
What
for
I'm
you.
seeing is, God fucking damn it! Like I just got Mission Impossible 4. It's one disc and there's no audio commentary. It's a pain in the ass. No special features. Well, barely any special features.
Was it? Did you buy a different version? Like just
No,
the-
I
just
don't.
the-
I don't. I looked and I don't see a special edition anywhere. I see it less and less as special effects become more common in movies. That they just care less to explain
Yeah, I
it.
guess so.
Well, I also think that with some movies, they're so long. Like, I think the original Avatar Blu-ray didn't have many special features because they had trouble fitting it all onto one disc.
That's right.
They also released that very quickly, didn't they?
Yeah.
They did,
Like
yeah.
straight after it was. I think it was still in some theaters when they.
Yeah.
put the Blu-ray out.
There's no commentary on the special edition Avatar, but there's a buttload of special features on the second and third disc. They just have different discs for that. I thought audio commentary tracks just don't take up that much space.
Audio can take depending if it's a long audiophile, it can take a lot of
Okay.
space.
Do you ever listen to
I
commentaries?
propose we have like 5 commentaries on season 10.
No, it could be, depending on your file format, you could have a couple gigs of just audio.
Really?
I never use special features at all. That's why on ours we don't have a lot of special features. We just have a lot of extra content on our Red vs. Blue discs.
I like getting like the behind the scenes look on how movies get made. I watch them all day. It's part of my learning
I
process.
like that for like huge blockbusters, like for something like Independence Day with like all the model shots. And
Right,
stuff.
right.
That's
See,
cool.
the thing is that because it's getting more common, it's less explained. People like
Yeah.
the people producing special features feel like they don't need to
They
explain.
just
it
assume
anymore.
that the audience understands how it's done.
Yeah. But even then, I still like the process of making movies. You know?
So this Blu-ray set released June 28th, 2011. Basically, that's a year ago at this point.
Yeah.
or close to it. It is still on Amazon's number 3 in movies and TVs for drama, number 3 in fantasy, and number 7 in action adventure.
Wow.
The box set.
Wow.
And I was reading articles because we made the announcement about Elijah Wood being in the cast, and they were talking about...
Wait.
Yeah.
What?
Spoiler. And of Red versus Blue, and in the articles they were talking about 10 years ago, Red versus Blue started. 10 years ago, Elijah Wood was in, at that same time, was in Lord of the Rings, so they were coming out then. I think it was Fellowship came out in 2003. Wow. Right?
03 was Return of the King.
Was it Return of the King?
Yeah.
So it was it 01 then?
Yeah.
Okay, so that puts it in perspective. That movie is, this box set is number 3 in like 3 different categories on Amazon for best selling, and the last movie came out 10 years ago. Wow. That's good longevity, dude. That is amazing.
That's a
It's
good
funny because
investment.
I don't even view it as being out that long ago. You know?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was 10 years ago.
And the
pretty
effects
recent.
don't even look that dated either. I mean, it's
To me, they don't look dated at all.
No.
I mean, but I'm just...
But it came out around the same time as Harry Potter, and the effects in that first movie are just disgraceful.
Are they? Harry Potter?
Yeah, like
Are
where
they
he's like
disgraceful?
sat on top of that troll, and he's
Well,
like shoving the wand. It's like he looks ridiculous.
Plus the troll scene in Fellowship that was...
the best part about Lord of the Rings is special features. They approached it from like every trick in the book. Some part of it's practical, part of it's like they
I love
had
practical effects.
They had the most like high end like CG technology at the time, but they also had like things were being held together by like rubber bands.
Yeah,
and
like
duct
the
tape.
miniature they built
You
for
know.
Minas Tirith in
Minas Tirith.
Return of the King is
Yeah.
crazy huge.
Yeah,
And,
it's like 20 feet tall.
yeah,
Did you go to the museum exhibit?
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, that was incredible. If that thing ever tours again, they did a whole Weta Lord of the Rings tour for this museum exhibit, and it was fucking
It's funny
incredible.
when you go to the visitor center for New Zealand, like
Yeah.
you go to Auckland, New Zealand, you go to the visitor center. Half of the visitor center is Lord of the Rings stuff, and like weta scarves
It's
and hats
huge.
and
It's
stuff.
huge.
It's huge.
Yeah, the first time
It's
we
a part
went
of
to
their
the-
economy.
2001 was the first Lord of the Rings movie, by the way. 2001. So that would have been December 2001.
We had the opportunity to work with one of, like Bay Rate, was one of the guys on Lord of the Rings, and
Yeah,
boy,
Bay
that guy-
was the guy who essentially modeled and animated Gollum's face.
right. He talked about how they flew investors in early on in the process, and he could show them, "Oh, this is what I'm doing," and that was part of making the sale of the movie, which was fascinating to hear about.
To me, the digital stuff is amazing, but the old world, like, craftsman stuff, like
Yeah.
the leather
That's always-
workers, and,
that's
the-
always
Oh,
great.
yeah.
and they
That's
had
always
blacksmiths.
They have
working on
those
it.
guys who built chainmail for 4 years straight who lost their fingerprints.
Right.
Wow.
So the way they built the
Yes.
the way they built the chainmail armor, instead of making chainmail because it'd be too heavy to wear, they basically had the system where they took a long plastic tube, a pipe, and then they just cut it into little links.
And they had two guys.
the guys would cut that and then link them together, cut it, link together.
The smartest
So it's
thing-
all plastic links.
but handcrafted.
The smart,
Each link in every armor. They have no
And
fingerprints now
Two
because of
guys
it.
did that for the however duration of the movie, years straight,
So they can commit any crime that they want.
and they will be fully armored.
As long as it's not in the UK and they're not caught on camera.
exactly.
But I love some of the other stuff too, like
See,
how
we tie everything into the Rooster Teeth podcast.
Like
It's,
in
all,
the-
it's like Seinfeld.
in the Two Towers, when all the Rohan stuff is going on, I think they got just about every horse in New Zealand for some of those shots,
And,
right?
and riders, some of as
like
as
some
many
of the-
riders as possible. A lot of them were just women
See,
wearing
had
beards.
they
Wow.
redone that with sheep, there would have been no problem. There's a lot of sheep. All right.
All right, well, we should.
When all was said and done, a total of 12.5 million links had been fashioned out of 7 miles of PVC pipe. As a result of this tedious labor, the two workers ended up rubbing the fingerprints off their thumbs and forefingers.
Wow.
Dear.
Rubbing them off. I can't imagine that.
It's like grinding down skin. Why wouldn't it regenerate?
I don't know. It's like, probably just gave up after a while.
Fuck
like, okay,
this.
we get it. You don't want these fingerprints.
I worked on Lord of the Rings.
All right, well, we need
has a head
to wrap up
Gus,
here.
Gus.
What?
So
Why are you rolling your eyes like that?
one thing real quick.
You don't have
though.
anything to say.
So this week Avengers is coming out. Who's going to see Avengers? Since we're talking about movies.
I'll see that.
So there's a
I never go to see movies, but I will go to see that.
Well, if you never go to see movies, let me throw this at you. The Alamo, because they always do cool stuff for everything. They're doing an incredible Avengers marathon where they were showing every single Avengers movie and then showing the Avengers.
Wow.
So you see Iron Man,
How long-
Iron Man 2.
So which Hulk?
When is it?
the second Hulk.
The one with
Yeah, that's the one that they consider the Avengers canon.
Ed Norton.
When is
Right?
that?
I think it's Ed Norton, yeah.
Yeah.
When's that going to be?
Thursday.
Yeah, I think,
Until Friday? Or?
Hold on one second. I'll look up the actual description here.
That's
for
a
you.
lot of.
was it like 5 movies then?
I want to say it was like 700
Iron
minutes
Man,
of
Iron Man
movies.
2,
Hold on one
Thor,
second. I'll look at
Hulk,
the Avengers marathon.
Captain America. Yeah, it's 5 movies.
Mm.
There's no Black Widow movie. There's no
There
Hawkeye.
needs to be a Black Widow movie.
Who's that dude with the bow and arrow?
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of glossed over all that. Huh?
He was in Thor.
He was in Thor.
He was
for
the guy.
about
He was the guy in like
was-
the cherry picker.
He had the 3 frames.
Yeah.
So wait, there's a guy who can fly around in a
Technically-
metal suit. There's a guy who can
Yes.
be huge and green, and there's a guy who has a bow and
Technically,
arrow.
they,
No, he's a master assassin. though,
technically
so
they
it's-
spent
Yes,
more
yes.
time on Gus in that movie than they did the Arrow.
That's like the biggest question when you have like a team like that. You have like such this imbalance in power, right?
Yeah, right. That's always the thing. It's like, oh, we have to handcraft one special moment where this guy could shoot an arrow at something to justify this whole scene and justify his whole purpose and value. You don't do anything. He should just not do anything the entire movie and just be like all the other superheroes. Like, yeah, thanks.
771 minutes.
Oh wow.
Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, 2008. Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, and then finally
Why
the
isn't
Avengers.
That's almost 13 hours of movies.
I would do that just to see Iron Man again.
Iron Man's
I've watched both the Iron Mans like 100 times.
Yeah, the
probably.
first Iron Man was.
But why is Ed Norton not playing Bruce Banner again?
It was Eric Bana that played him in the first
Well,
one. Right?
yeah.
What was the budget on
Eric
do you
who?
know?
Eric Banner.
I mean, if they could
Yeah.
get
Bana.
Iron Man guy, Tony Stark guy, what's his face? Robert
Downey
Downey Jr.
Jr.
again, and I think he would have been the hardest one to get back. As remember,
Well, they might have been willing to put up.
remember
the money
Iron
for-
Man 2? They're kind of like implying that, like keeping like a safe zone. It's like maybe he won't be in the movie, maybe
Yeah.
he will. You know?
Yeah, if they had to use like
I think they even.
Rhodey.
I think in the trailer they have a line where it's like, "I thought you weren't going to join the team," and he's like, "Whatever," you know.
No, I think there was some concern whether or not Robert Downey Jr. would join.
Had
the cast.
he not been in it, it would. I mean, for me, of all the movies, that was the only one that held interest for me.
Well, Iron Man 1.
I like.
Yeah, the whole Iron Man story, like
very
Thor,
cool.
Captain America, all
like-
those other
well,
guys didn't care.
The thing I liked about it was that it was real. Like, it wasn't a superhero. He's just a rich guy in a suit. But then there's all these other superheroes, so it's like, yeah, it's kind of defeated that.
You can
now for
see
me.
the frustration. Gus, are you trying to end this?
trying to end it.
Why?
Because we have a segment after this.
What's the
What's the segment
about?
after
Just
this?
have a 2-hour
I
podcast.
guarantee you, they're not going to be as interesting as us.
You'd be surprised.
Who is it- what is it about? Who is it
We
about?
interviewed some people at Funimation about an upcoming project they have involving Mass Effect.
Okay. Well.
That's
okay.
pretty cool.
No. I mean, every time we've had a guest, I
Is
I just like that.
Are you going to badmouth the podcast on the podcast?
no. Like when we had like the Bioware people, I'm
All right,
like, I don't
listen,
play Mass
listen.
Effect, so I just like whatever.
Can we rebrand? Can we get the trademark for Funimation?
No.
But it has fun and animation in the. It's 2 words. but-
When is the Alamo thing, Bernie?
It is Thursday. It's at noon.
And sold out, I imagine.
I don't know. I didn't check to see if it was
Have you
sold.
had
Can we
any?
just get-
I'm not going to that. I'm not doing
Have
that.
you had any extreme coincidences happen to you?
No, why are you still trying to talk about stuff? That's it. We're wrapping this shit up.
Next time,
what are you
next
talking
time,
about? What are you
Gavin and I have a theory that we're dead. Because when he and I are in the same room, weird coincidences happen.
We've
so
been
if I
traveling a lot.
killed you
and
guys,
We
that would
might
be a
already
problem.
be dead, Joel. This might be the flashback right before we
I
die.
could
This
only,
might be our lives.
I could only fucking hope.
And Monty's like our guide because he keeps telling us, "You've already talked about this." He's slowly trying to
happens-
convince
what
the
we'll
fact
do-
that we're
this is
dead.
what we'll
You
do,
do.
Gus.
And
We
so-
will, we will say...
No, I noticed it when I get super busy with a project or whatever.
We're done.
I know. Did you cut? Oh, you ass.
Hey, everyone. We got some people joining us today here to talk about an upcoming project they're working on. It's me, Gus, and Adam sitting in.
Hello.
From Rooster Teeth. And we are being joined by Justin Rojas, who's the Senior Social Media Manager at Funimation, and April Bennett, who's the Supervising Producer for an upcoming project they're working on that's Mass Effect related called Mass Effect Paragon Lost. You guys there?
Wait,
Yes.
yes. Funimation?
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on.
You have no idea what's going on?
Well, I saw some trailer video earlier last week.
Oh, yeah.
That was just some concept art. But what are you guys working on?
So it's we are actually doing a video game related animated film, about a 90-minute film based off of a new character that they introduced in Mass Effect 3. And it's called Mass Effect Paragon Lost, and it's pretty much Vega, who's the new character that you've seen in the game. It's his backstory. You hear a little bit of his backstory in the actual video game, but now you're actually getting to visually see it. It's pretty much like an extension of the video game that you're getting to see it visually.
So is this the story of everything that happened to him up until the point we see him at the beginning of Mass Effect 3, like his career in the actual military?
Yep, pretty much. He is one of those guys where he really looked up to Shepard all his life, and he wanted to be exactly like Shepard. And when he finally did get into the military, he finds out that it's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah, no shit. We had to kill like tons of Reapers and all sorts of other crazy stuff.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, lots of Reapers, a lot of big decision making to be done. So.
Well, that's cool. I know that I look forward to it because I know when I started playing Mass Effect 3 and I first ran into James, I was like, who is this guy? I felt like he seemed like he had knowledge of Shepard. He knew what was going on and was talking to me almost very cavalierly, and I had no idea who he was.
In the very first beginning, and you can see it on some of my Mass Effect streams, when I first met him, I thought he was Jacob from Mass Effect 2. I was like, wow, you've changed, you've gotten really strong, what's going on? And then like an hour or so in the game, I was like, these are totally different characters. I'm confused.
Right.
Where did that other guy go? Who are you?
When I played the game, in a sense, you've got this feeling that, Shepard's a legend that's been going around, and throughout 1 and 2, all these things have happened, and everyone has heard his stories. So seeing James Vega, he's one of those guys who's in the military who's heard everything about this, legend of Shepard, and then actually is getting to work with him for a bit. So it's kind of cool human element, I think, to it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing is that the Mass Effect guys, we worked very closely with Casey Hudson and the whole Mass Effect team on this story. And that was one thing that, they wanted to show, especially with Vega, that, it's not as easy as it looks to be in the military. And Vega, you get to see a more personal side to him than just the big burly guy who beats you up in some cutscenes.
Hey, I beat him up.
Yeah,
for the
that's
rest
good.
win.
You beat him up.
I'm sure it goes both ways, depending on the options that you choose.
Right.
For the record, I beat Vega up.
Okay, good.
So did I.
Yeah. I would too, honestly. Yeah.
So this project you're working on, is it how long is it? Is it a feature length production, or is it a series, or what's the scope of the work that's being done here?
Yeah, it's actually a feature-length film. It's going to be 90 minutes. We're very excited about it. We've been working on this, for almost 2 years now. So it's one of those things where it takes a while for, especially for animation, it takes an entire year to do animation. So we've been working on this before Mass Effect 3 ever came out, and learning more about Vega and how they created Vega. And actually, what was really neat is what we kind of came up with for Vega is what you actually see in the video game, because we were working simultaneously with them. So we worked about 6 months on the script, then we went into animation, and we should be getting final animation here shortly, and then we'll be doing all the little whistles and adding in all the sound effects and recording and all that fun stuff, and should be releasing November 6th.
Oh, that's great. So, I mean, since you've been working on it for so long, were you very privy to the story of Mass Effect 3 during the early stages when you were writing the script, or was it very limited, like just write about this
Actually,
character?
no. They were very, very, very secretive, and they're right, they should be. They gave us what we needed to know for Vega, but that was it. So they wanted to keep everything pretty secretive, which is good. But, it would have been nice to get a little sneak peek. But I did get a little sneak peek here and there before some people, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, most of the time, no, they kept it very secretive.
So who else are you guys working with on this project? It sounds like you're working pretty closely with BioWare. Who's doing your animation, or do you have any other partners working on this with you guys?
Yeah, we do work very closely with BioWare, and then the animation studio is Production IG.
Oh wow!
And we have a director, Takeuchi-san, which I actually just got back from Tokyo interviewing him about this film and what he liked about it and so on and so forth. So it was a lot of fun to get to meet with him and actually see the animation process. That's something that we're going to be putting as a DVD extra is you guys getting to actually see the production IG studios and the animation process, and then talking to the director as well.
For people who are listening and may not know, Production IG worked on, the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, and they also did the animated segment during Kill Bill Volume 1. That's all I can think of off the top of my head, but they're
very good. Yeah, those are like the two main ones that they're known for sure.
Yeah, very respected. That's awesome. I really look forward to it. I know I saw you all put a teaser out on the BioWare site with concept art last week, and the concept art looked great. I was hoping I could see a little more of the stuff in action, stuff actually moving, but I guess it's still a little early in the process.
It's still a little early, but don't worry, there will be something coming out here in the next couple of months that you guys will get to see some moving stuff. It's hard, it's not like a typical live action. With animation, it's a long process, so we can't just give little teasers like most live action films can do because they already have it in live action. We have Production IG working very diligently trying to get the animation done and trying to make it look as good as possible. So this is going to be also, just so you know, it'll be a 2D, 3D mix. So all the characters will be in 2D and most of the vehicles are 3D.
Okay.
And what's really cool is we were actually able to take the actual 3D asset from the video game and implement it into the movie.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah. I bet that's got a really cool style to it, a really cool feel to it, I bet.
Oh, it's really neat. It's really neat.
One that I can think of
really like it.
but I can't remember the name right now. Anyway, I thought it was cool.
So when you're working on a project like this, obviously I guess you have to write the script first. What is the next step? Like, do you all then work on animation and then do audio, or do you do audio first and lay it down and then animate based on that, or how does that work?
Well, Funimation actually does it a little differently than most normal animation studios. Most normal animation studios will record the audio first, and then they'll animate to that. But due to us working with an actual Japanese animation studio, we have them record it in Japanese, and then Funimation will dub it on the back end. That's what Funimation is known for, doing such a great job with bringing in these Japanese titles and dubbing them to the lip flap. So the next step after script is they'll do the recording, but then they start on storyboards. And we begin to see the storyboards, because the thing with animation is it's not like live action where you can just film. You have to know what you're animating, and that's it. Nothing is left on the cutting room floor. So we look at storyboards, and then they kind of work simultaneously pretty much. As they are shelling out storyboards, we're giving notes, and then they're starting to animate, and then they're still shelling out more and more storyboards. So it's kind of a stair-step process.
That's interesting. I never would have imagined that that's the way it would work. That's really cool. What kind of, how difficult is it to work? Like, is there a big language barrier when you're trying to coordinate with partners who are overseas in Japan?
Justin hears all the stories all the time. It's definitely, there can be a cultural difference, especially when we are in script writing phase sometimes. With this one, it was great. Takeuchi-san was really very gung-ho and excited about this project. So the dialogue we were able to keep quite a bit. But there are times where, when we say, "What up, bro?" The Japanese don't know how to say "what up, bro." They don't even know what that means. They're like, "Why are you saying up, bro?" That sort of thing. So we have to do a lot of explanation, like, no, don't worry, this is Western slang, that sort of thing. But then also, too, a lot of changes go down in the storyboard phase, because then they start realizing, oh, wow, they bit off a little more than they can chew. And so they're having to kind of cut down a little bit and get it to a good point. So a lot of what my job is I always tell people I'm a peacekeeper, because I not only am the middle person between Japan, but I also deal with BioWare too. Mm-hmm. So I have to bring all all forms of notes and things like that together and make it one cohesive unit. But what's really cool about this project is we are not just releasing this in the States. This is going to be a worldwide release. So, we have to make it appeal to worldwide. But it's definitely with Canon. There might be some more explanations than what, most gamers would want to see, only because, they're like, well, I already know that. And it's like, well, we're having to appeal to people who don't necessarily already know what a Praetorian is and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you beat me to my next question. I was going to ask if it was going to be a global release or not. So, like, how much video games do you guys typically play? Would you say you're pretty big gamers, or are you more focused on the animation side of things?
I say for myself, I actually sit and watch my nephews play, because there's no way I can freaking do those little toggle switch. And I just want up, down, left, right. That's what I want. So I watch my whole family, my brothers and my nephews are big gamers. So what I do, they love it. They love my job, because I'll give them a video game and say, play this, and I sit and watch it. But I know Rojas plays a lot.
Yeah, a good chunk of us here at Funimation Office. I mean, we're an anime company, so it is a company full of gamers and nerds and all that. Very geeky company. I mean, yeah, I play my good share of video games. Definitely went through the Mass Effect games. When we worked on Dragon Age, made sure to play the Dragon Age games too. But I've played whatever, Halo, and
it's technically research for us.
Yeah, it's research. All the RPGs, whatever it might be. When anime's not taking up all my time, definitely put in some video games in there.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of crossover there, and I think that might surprise people who don't work in the industry. Like when Rooster Teeth first got its start doing, going to events and meeting with, people who were fans of our work, we would go to anime conventions, because there really weren't many big consumer video game shows. Yeah. And people would always say, why are you going to an anime convention? I said, well, the people who are fans of our stuff, the people who are fans of video games, are also fans of anime, and that's where you'll find them.
Yeah, that's pretty much why Funimation decided to dive into the original entertainment realm is, we have the anime fans, and then the video games have a built-in fan base, and there's a lot of anime fans that are big gamers, and then there's a lot of anime fans that aren't necessarily big gamers, and vice versa. Same for the video gamers. They might not be exactly anime fans. So what we're trying to do is really broaden this art form to all forms of geeks out there. Geek entertainment.
Yeah, geek culture.
Geek culture, exactly.
Yeah, it's funny how you said that you'll watch your brothers or your nephew play games. We have a team of animators here who work on Red vs. Blue, and they work really long hours, and they don't necessarily get to play as many games as they want. So sometimes I'll catch them, streaming other people playing video games or watching videos on YouTube, like recaps of games.
Yeah, I do a lot of that because Japan is 14 hours ahead of us. A lot of times in the evening time, I'm having to do phone calls with them. And so it's difficult for me to just get to sit down and play. So I do a lot of streaming of gameplay and things like that. So I love people who actually do that. It's kind of nice. It's good research for me.
Yeah, it's a good way to get caught up.
I swear about 50% of the time, every time I go back to the studio, Monty has Street Fighter or some video game streaming on one of his 19 monitors now.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, one of our animators has a battle station where I think he has 6 monitors hooked up to one computer.
Oh my word!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it might be higher than that now.
He's normally watching a movie, watching a game, watching
anime, and working. Yeah,
it's crazy. So with you working with Japan, have you had to go over to Japan at all during this project?
Well, I actually just got my very first trip. I've been with the company for about 2 years now, and so I got my very first trip for Dragon Age. Because we actually have a co-producer out there, we rely heavily on them to be kind of the project managers of the animation studios. But this go round, I got to go for Mass Effect and go check out the studios, and I also decided to make it a trip to do DVD extras as well for the Mass Effect fans, because everyone got really excited over here when they started to see that teaser trailer, and are really excited to see the process. So that was something that we wanted to do for the fans, is let people see the animation process, and I kind of wanted to see it myself. It's crazy how they work over there. They will they don't require high school diplomas, and a lot of times they will hire people fresh out of middle school.
Wow.
If they are good drawers, they will let them be animators. It's crazy. It's like they put a lot of people in one gigantic room. It's very messy, and it's really interesting.
Well, I bet it's people who are really passionate about what they do if they pluck them that young and if they're that talented.
Yeah, they sleep at their desks. I saw a guy passed out at one desk one time. I saw another guy who had his sleeping bag sitting right there. So they are very passionate.
That's awesome.
I mean, in Japan, animation is such a big deal. I mean, it is here too in the U.S., but it's primarily like what people think of as like Disney and Pixar or something like that. But in Japan, I mean, that is like one of their largest, forms of media there.
Yep.
So where in Japan was the studio that you visited?
It was in Tokyo. I can't even remember what district it was in. I went to so many places, and I don't really speak Japanese, but I know, like, I think it was close to Shinjuku. It was kind of a little bit further out, a little bit on the outskirts, a little bit of Tokyo. Because when I was walking around with our co-producers, they were telling me that the studio was in a more residential area.
Okay. I went to Japan once, like 6 or 7 years ago, and I had a blast out there. It was it's such a different place. It
was an adventure, that's for sure. And I went by myself, so that was even more interesting.
Yeah, it's funny. When I went by myself too, and like not knowing the language, not knowing anybody there, and some of the guys here don't understand how I could do that. Just go to a foreign country where I don't know anything, and just lose yourself for a while.
Right.
But yeah, it's a fascinating place to visit.
It is. I completely agree.
So, you said you've been with April? You said you've been with Funimation for 2 years now. Justin, how long have you been there?
I've been here for 3? Right about 3.
You're right, funny.
Nice. How did you all get your start, like working, in this industry?
I'll let you start.
I've always been an anime fan. Growing up with Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon, Samurai Pizza Cats, and all that junk. I did conventions for a little bit, just going through college and all that. So once I got out of college, I'm born and raised in Dallas, which is where, Funimation's always been located in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So I was always kind of aware, seeing the logo at the end of the Dragon Ball Z episodes. I went to school for business, and when I was out getting jobs, it just, honestly, it's the most boring story, really, in the world. It's like, oh, there's a job opening at Funimation in a relevant field that I have experience in. I guess I'll just apply. So I applied, came in for an interview, and I mean, given the fact that, I had the anime experience also, and the relevant marketing experience, it was just a fit. And surprisingly, with all the people we've hired, that's not always so easy to find.
Yeah.
Not necessarily always required either. We've got a lot of people here who aren't necessarily like huge anime fans, but for certain positions you need to be more of a fan than others. So I started off here as a brand manager, assistant brand manager, and then I kind of transitioned into the social media realm. So it's been a cool place to be, and it's constantly changing. This company is so different than it was when I first started. Heck, it's different than it was last year.
Yeah.
So
my background is a little different. Fresh out of college, I actually started working in reality TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was born and raised out here in Richardson, in North Dallas. So I started off working on a couple court television shows. Then I got the amazing opportunity to work with Robert Rodriguez out there in Austin.
Nice.
I was his second assistant on Sin City and The Adventure Shark Boy and Lava Girl. And during the time that I was there, a lot of the people that I worked with influenced me to go out to Los Angeles. So I moved out to Los Angeles after that and lived out there for about 5 years. And really, I did a lot more reality shows. A lot of my connections were out there. So I did I produced a whole bunch of reality shows while I was out there, and missed the family. So I decided to move back and saw that there was an opportunity here at Funimation. I actually had not really, I'd heard a little bit about Funimation. I'd always see their name a little bit, but this was so different, and it was something because we were doing original stuff with my skills of just being a producer in general. We're able to cross over because, I mean, no matter it's animation or live action or anything like that, it all is pretty much the same type of job. So,
Right.
So I was able to use my skills, and now we have these 2 films, Dragon Age and Mass Effect, but we have 3 other films that are in the pipeline.
Have you announced them?
No, we haven't.
Oh, okay.
So, but we will soon, hopefully.
So, are these, I guess, is this like a new, well, you probably can't talk about it. Okay, so I guess, you said you also had the Dragon Age, feature that you worked on as well. Do you have any other video game related things that you've worked on in the past, like, with Funimation?
No, actually, Dragon Age is our very first film for the original entertainment department. So we're very excited about that. That comes out at the end of May 29th. And then Mass Effect will be our second film.
When is this actually going to ask, but I didn't want to sound stupid. In the case that it had already come out, I was like, oh man,
May 29th. Yeah, so we're still doing a lot of push for that.
Yeah, we're actually doing. We just did our premiere in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a limited theatrical limited screenings actually on May 24th in it's San Francisco, Los Angeles, Edmonton, New York. Yeah, those 4. Right?
Yeah.
So that's a 1-day showing. So that's literally like the only time you're going to have a chance to see it in theaters. So if you guys are in those areas, you should definitely check it out.
Nice. We'll be sure to include a link to any listing you have with more information about that. Yeah, and Adam and I were also both big Dragon Age players as well.
Yes.
Oh, yay.
So I think
I probably played more Dragon Age than I did Mass Effect.
Really? I think I played more Mass Effect than Dragon Age.
Well, if you saw Cassandra, this Dragon Age, we have it called Dragon Age Dawn of the Seeker. It's based on Cassandra's backstory.
Oh, awesome.
From Dragon Age 2. Yeah.
Interesting.
She's pretty hot. She kicks ass and she's hot. So.
Perfectly.
Yeah, I think Adam and I are probably your target audience for both of these films.
Yep. I will be seeing both of them.
The movie actually has a lot of dragons.
Yes.
So.
Do you have a release date for the Mass Effect piece yet?
Yeah, it's November 6th.
Great.
Yeah, it's direct to DVD. We're still currently trying to plan and Blu-ray. Yes, sorry, and we're still trying to figure out if we're going to do some sort of theatrical thing where we'll have it one night only, sort of thing. But we'll probably have more information when it gets closer.
Hopefully, for that one, you can add an Austin date.
Yeah,
so we can check it out as well. November 6th. That's going to be a busy date.
Yes, it will be.
Yeah.
Voting and everything.
That's presidential election, and so yeah, you'll definitely, people will definitely be looking for entertainment after casting their ballot.
I bet.
Some sort of escape.
Yeah.
Yeah, an escape from real life with and follow the trials of James Vega.
Right.
So the story that you're going to be telling in it's called Paragon Lost. Is that correct?
Uh-huh.
Does the story you're telling in Paragon Lost cover James Vega's whole life, or is it just his military career?
It's just his military career. It's kind of on his first mission out in the military. And this is before he's joined in 7, the whole thing. So it's right, fresh into the military. You get to see all of his choices and how he became the leader that he is today.
What kind of makes him a little broody? In the third one, in the third Mass Effect.
Do we get to see him get his tattoo? Can you Can you say that?
No, I know. I wish we could have, but yeah, no. He already has the tattoo in our thing as well. So
I was hoping we could see the reasoning behind that, or the choices that led up to that.
I don't know. I never learned the reasoning behind it. I think I probably did at one point. Now I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Well, that's too bad. We'll have to make do with already having his tattoo.
Yeah.
And I forget, in Mass Effect 3, does he tell? I'm looking at Adam here. Does James tell a story about a mission gone bad and losing his the people he was commanding?
Yes. There's a moment where, when talking to him, and I'm pretty sure it's where you get to unlock his special ability. And he's talking about how, he had a mission go wrong, and how do you recover from being in command and essentially having to make the strategically right choice, but in some viewpoints the morally wrong choice.
Right.
Where you end up having to sacrifice the lives of your men to gain the military advantage or whatever, and win the war, but most definitely lose a lot of comrades. Mm-hmm. And there's definitely a moment where there's a long.
I know you guys can't spoil anything, but I'm hoping I remember that moment standing out in the game for me, and I hope we see a little more of that or things of that ilk. Can't
remember if it's before or after. Then you get to fight him.
I think it's before you fight him.
I think they get upset and then they fight each other.
You do get to see that visually in our movie, so you will get to see that strife and that sort of thing. I think you guys will be hearing that. It's very exciting to hear that, because that's our movie right there.
Oh, great! That was definitely, I feel,
spoiler alert.
Oh, great! We know how it ends. I feel like
there's still a lot to be learned. It's not the whole thing, but you'll see.
Yeah, we when we talk about it internally, it's kind of like Titanic. The ship is going to sink.
Yeah.
But how and why and what's going on during the time?
Yeah.
So. I feel like that was probably the interaction with James that stuck out with me the most.
I would agree.
So I'm glad to hear that it'll be included and that is the movie.
And as April mentioned again, that was from our movie added into the game. So
really, I didn't know that.
Rare things you see in video game movies these days. It's completely separate from the game itself, or it's a complete side story that might not ever make its way into the rest of the storyline. But with Dragon Age and Mass Effect, both will have elements that have crossed over in some form or fashion.
Yep.
So did they
and with visuals?
And visuals.
So were those story hooks left open intentionally on BioWare's side, or was the idea developed on your side and then inserted into the game? Like, which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, it's kind of difficult to say because we developed it together.
I gotcha.
It's kind of difficult to say that.
Well, that's good. It's good to hear that, it's that kind of hand-in-hand collaboration, because I feel like that makes, the end product more genuine, more, more compelling.
That's one thing about both BioWare teams, maybe Dragon Age or Mass Effect. Both teams are very much all about working as a team. And coming up with these concepts as a team. So that's pretty much how we try to mimic working with them as well. It's just, making sure that we're sticking to canon. We don't really want to piss off any fans or anything like that. Honestly, this is an extension. It's pretty much, I like to tell people, it's pretty much just a long, extended cutscene for you to watch. Mm-hmm. So.
That's very interesting. One of my favorite things about playing the Mass Effect franchise has been, moments where they tie things together from the first game or from other games, and even to see how they're taking that cross media. They're going to connect two things, one in an anime form, and then it will translate into the video game. So if you've watched the animation and then you go and play the video games, there's going to be a moment where you're like, oh my gosh, that's James Vega.
Right.
I've seen that, that's going to be really enjoyable for both, people who have played the game first. They're going to be able to see something that they can relate to immediately. And then maybe people who haven't played the game yet will, if they watch the animation and then play the game, they'll have a really rewarding first experience with him.
Right.
Probably much better than some of our first experiences.
Yeah, I think I would have enjoyed.
Where we were just confused.
I would have enjoyed seeing an animated piece like this explaining his story before running into him in that hallway at the beginning of Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, and he seems very casual and nonchalant when he meets you for the first, when he meets Shepard for the first time. He's like, Sup, bro? And I'm just like, who are you? Why are you so muscly?
Yeah, we talked about this in a previous podcast, and I think we were saying, where were you the last 2 games? I already saved the Galaxy twice. So it'll be good to see where he was and what he was doing.
It's neat.
I know it's not. Well, and another thing, I sidetracked myself mid thought. Another thing that would be cool, and maybe it's kind of pie in the sky kind of stuff, is if you could make Paragon and Renegade choices while watching the animated piece.
That would be cool.
We talked about that. You have you have the button, you push and decide.
We didn't have the budget for that.
It makes me think of like the old Dragon's Lair or Space Ace games from the early to mid '80s.
Now, I do have a question, and if you guys can't talk about it, that's cool. I presume this story will be playing at the same or it's taking place at the same timeline of Shepard running around the galaxy kicking some Reaper ass. Do you guys know if do we get to hear about little bits and pieces about the great Commander Shepard from his storyline, or is it too different? Like how does that? How are you guys handling that, if you can talk about it?
Actually, this storyline is when they supposedly Shepard was dead. So at this point, we don't talk too much about Shepard. Vega kind of does a forever Normandy badge he wears and that sort of thing, and he talks about how he was such a great leader. But because this is kind of I can't remember how many years back, but it's just enough back to where it was right after Shepard had disappeared or had supposedly died.
Well, that's a good time period to flesh out.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, in Mass Effect 2, you just get that gap when you're playing it.
Yeah.
One of the cool things is you can see people have different opinions of Shepard. Depending on the choices that Shepard had to make at the end of Mass Effect 1. So it's interesting to see that different people in the movie can have different reflections on how the events went down, because everyone has kind of their limited information. No one knows everything that you knew when you played the game, and so you kind of get to see it from their perspective.
Right. No, that's really, really interesting.
Oh, that's awesome. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. I almost like when there are gaps in the story that you're able to go back and fill in with other projects like this.
Yeah.
I know it's not as glamorous as Japan, but did you have the chance to travel up to Edmonton?
Actually, yes, I did, and I'm going to be going again here in probably June, but I went up to Edmonton for the Dragon Age DVD extras and got to interview the Dragon Age team. And actually, on the Dragon Age DVD, this is the first time you've ever gotten to see it, but I made them take us on a studio tour of BioWare. And so that's one of our DVD extras. It was really cool. It's so funny, though. Like, I remember myself and my camera guy were driving around, and we were like, we don't feel like we're in another country. It feels like Texas. It actually felt like Texas. So...
Well, and if you want to see some of that, actually, on DragonAgeMovie.com, we did a teaser video of the trip to BioWare. So you get to see a little bit of the studio. You get to see, Mike Laidlaw, the creative director. It's a real quick, 30-second piece of the full-length extra.
Yeah, but it's really cool. I mean, everyone up there is extremely nice. Canadians are just so nice.
Yeah. Well, we'll be sure to link that teaser. I could see why you might think it's similar to Texas. Don't they have a lot of oil up there in Edmonton, the Alberta province?
Yeah, and we they had to prove to me that Alberta steak was the best, and which was awesome. I did actually enjoy it. So, and then I also had Kobe steak in Tokyo. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to compare all three of them. There was quite a bit.
You've had a worldwide steak tour.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk with us. I know you guys are pretty busy. I don't want to hog your day talking, but really appreciate you guys coming out. And I think we're all excited about this project, and we'll be sure to link people and let them know what you're working on.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Yep.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye.